Oh my God, who the hell cares?
This is Patrick Stewart, and I always watch Pop Talk with PACIFIC414. Make it so.
Warning, due to adult language and humor, the following content may not be suitable for any viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following live stream or video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
Except mine.
Mine too.
Pop Talk is where it's at, baby.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome, one and all, to the Sunday edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk. Along with my co-hosts, Baron Orban Tag, Cash Money 007, I am your host, Mike, and as you can see there in the bottom right-hand corner, our guest today will be reality-based, and who knows, maybe one of you might be a future rising star. Please welcome to the show, Ryan Roger Athay.
Yay.
Well, hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well.
That was enthusiastic there, Cash. Yay.
Remember,
just
Baron,
funny
Cash just woke up.
No, I've been up for an hour or two. So yeah, I know.
What time is it?
Cash, are you using Canadian healthcare?
I hope not.
No, he's using California healthcare.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, at least the plan here is better than the other one. It's cheaper, but it was certainly a mess to get it accomplished.
Oh, don't worry. They'll euthanize you soon enough.
So this morning on Pop Talk, of course, I will be asking Ryan some questions, how he got started on YouTube, what inspired him to get started on YouTube, and of course we will talk about a few articles here on Pop Talk this morning. One of those articles is from Variety, and it says Disney will not fight DeSantis takeover of special district in Orlando. Our next article will be from Niche Gamer. It says the day before studios disavows disinformation surrounding the game, and the game that they are talking about, we will find out together.
Good.
I also have an article from Cosmic Book News that says wokeness has nothing to do with Disney Plus losing 2.4 million subscribers.
Oh.
Right.
And this is the part where we all throw our heads back and laugh. Ha!
Well, I mean, I could go ahead and play one of the first clips because we're all laughing about that headline right there. All right, there it is.
About right. Indubitably.
And another article I have actually two articles from Bounty into Comics. This one will probably make parents say, okay, Mike, stop it. Will you please just stop it? But it's an article that says Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons executive Kyle Brink demands white males leave tabletop gaming.
You said the name wrong. It's Kyle Jar Jar Brinks.
My apologies.
Yeah. I'm correcting everybody today. You know, I'm that guy.
You're always correcting me. You always have to keep me in line. And our last story, also from Bounty in the Comics, says legendary DC Comics writer Chuck Dixon reacts to James Gunn's DCU slate, and this is a quote. It says, "I don't think he knows what the audience wants." Nah, he doesn't.
No,
Hence the
no.
DCFU. My
Mhm.
term.
I like that.
And before I ask our guest a series of questions, I do
Interrogation.
want to interpret it how you will. I do want to say hello to Bush McFadden. And I also want to say hello to Old Man. So, Ryan, I appreciate you coming on to Pop Talk this morning. And my first question for you is, how did you get started with your own YouTube channel?
Well, I guess the first video I ever made was in the middle of my local library with a camcorder in my hand, whispering, because you have to be quiet in a library, folks, and that's how it all began. I barely look any different, and it's been 4 years since that video was made. But baby steps, baby steps. I'm currently on my second run as a content creator. I've also evolved into a live streamer. How? I do not know. But I started the second run on the 28th of October of the year 2021. From 37 subscribers to where I am today, we just passed the 1,400 subscriber mark yesterday. Hopefully, we stay above that threshold, but you know what channel suppression is like, gentlemen. And yeah, here we are. I just spoke my mind with my thoughts and continued and evolved with Rising Stars, of which you three gentlemen are a few examples of, as well as suggestion videos from the audience. I make content, ladies and gentlemen, out of creators through Rising Stars and out of viewers through suggestion videos. And it seems to be going well so far, and hopefully I can keep on going and keep on growing for many years to come. I'll be 24 in late June of this year, and yeah, hopefully I'll have a long career, despite the fact that I haven't made any money in this career yet.
It's going to be very hard to make money on YouTube, unfortunately. Some people will make it, but you know, we just have to keep actually coming together and not being divided. If more content creators come together as a unit, then we can't be stopped. But
Well, first of all, Ryan, I do want to congratulate you on reaching 1,400 subscribers. That's a remarkable feat, and you know, it's something we all inspired to get to one day.
Oh, I'm sure this channel will get there sooner rather than later. It's more difficult for a live streamer to grow, folks. It's quite interesting because a content creator with 1,400 is not the same as a live streamer with 1,400. Well, the same with a shorts video maker. It's like comparing apples to oranges, which is why investigating creators and their origins and their feats as a rising star is very difficult, but I do try my best, and I've gone from one folder to about half a dozen. So,
And speaking of going from one folder to another, was there any one YouTuber or multiple YouTubers who inspired you to start your own channel?
Well, I had been an avid viewer since late 2015. So since September of 2015, the tail end of Gamergate, whose origins are still not confirmed to this day, folks. You go back and ask people about those events, you get one side, another side. There's no solid ground on that event. And from that, I started listening to creators such as Carl Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad, as he's also known, Milo Yiannopoulos, and a few others, Stefan Molyneux. Most of them are banned from mainstream social media now. But as the years went on, I learned about internet culture, and I decided to get more into pop culture channels around early 2018. You know, the big names by today's standards. So The Critical Drinker, I think, was just starting out, or maybe he started out in early 2019. But definitely Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, Doomcock, a few others, heel versus babyface, and his radical transformation over the years. Not visually, but as a creator, he's always looked the same. But they were the inspirations for me, folks, and I am grateful that those trailblazers have inspired so many thousands of creators, at least a few thousand, to do what they're doing today, such as myself and you guys. These creators may not be perfect, but for some reason, we're only seeing Mike now. I hope you can hear me.
I don't know why, because I'm putting out everybody's links right now, so I don't know why it highlighted just me, but
Having some
I'm gonna
technical
fix it.
difficulties here.
I was trying to fix it.
There
Well, you know,
it
if you're gonna focus on
There
one
it is.
person, you got to do it on the right person.
Blooper!
Hey, there's always a blooper here.
There's a real person you should focus
Oh,
on,
boy.
no matter what. I mean,
Oh, no.
Look,
No, I have no-
me in 30 years. Oh, but
No, but real quick, we do try to have fun here on Pop Talk, and Wednesday we had a lot of fun.
Oh God!
Oh, boy. Yes.
Oh
And-
my word!
And one thing I do know, because I am a regular viewer of the channel, is you are a regular on Loki's Mornings of Mischief, especially on the Weekend Review show.
Yes. Great guy. What Loki has done through the Valhalla community is worthy of inspiration, and hopefully he can do it for many years to come. Likes to speak his mind, and so much the better, because we need all the help we can get to make our pop culture great again, to slightly borrow a political quote.
Well, I mean, he's got a lot of energy. He's crazy, so definitely. But I hope he keeps that fire going in that aspect.
Oh, he's got a lot of passion. And that's one thing I'm sure you've learned doing YouTube, whether it's videos or even live streams now, Ryan, is that you have to have passion for this.
You have to be coherent as well, which is why structured scripts are vital for me as a live streamer. Although I will say, ladies and gentlemen, it's not easy being on camera, especially when you have the memory of Joe Biden.
Oh, man.
Oh my!
Yes, indeed. But I do try my best. There are a few bloopers here and there, but people give me the benefit of the doubt because I don't wear a suit and tie. I'm not on mainstream media, and hopefully I'm never on mainstream media.
Well, mainstream media isn't bad as long as they leave you alone.
Mm.
But then again, it's been a while since I've been on mainstream media, so.
And before we get any further, I do want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to Angela Straven. Welcome.
Hello.
Another rising star. So
Well, you
many
did that
wonderful
well.
people.
And that's the thing for your Rising Stars videos. You've highlighted Baron, you've highlighted Cash and the Phantom Hooligans, you've highlighted Nerporial Lifeform, you've highlighted the Star Wars guys, and I mentioned those names not just because Baron and Cash are here, but I've done several streams with both Nerporial and Paul, the Star Wars guys.
And of course, my co-host, the big guy himself, 24/7 Fusion Media.
Hopefully he gets better soon because he's going through some difficulties at the moment. But Rising Stars, ladies and gentlemen, is an attempt to map out exactly how many of us there are, which is a thankless job. I will say that, because the amount of people we are inspiring just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There are at least a few thousand of us who are up and coming. There is a good few dozen of us who are very prominent, whether they're independent creators or creator enterprises. And the audience pool is somewhere between a couple of 100,000 to a couple of million, based on the most prominent channels and all the creators who are up and coming. So yeah, there is quite a wide audience. I mean, we used to be called the Fandom Menace, and now it's like the Fandom Menace was the Vaz, folks, and then the Vaz was dropped in 2021, and we're all pieces of the Vaz. and I'm like the glue trying to bring us back together. I do try my best, but as I said before, it is probably a thankless job.
And with Rising Stars, was that something you wanted to do from the onstart of the channel, or was that just something that gradually came along as you kept creating videos and kept trying to think of new ideas for your channel?
Well, Rising Stars was a byproduct of what happened to me early February of last year. So this time last year, when one Tyrone Magnus shared my thoughts on him, and he also shared my thoughts of thanking him for sharing my thoughts, which is quite a mouthful when you think about it. It got me from about 75 to 280 subscribers in a few days, and I thought, well, if he can do that for me, I can try and do that for other creators. And that's how Rising Stars came to be. So without that great guy from the United States, I wouldn't be where I am today, or anywhere near where I am today. So that's how Rising Stars came about, through the kindness, the one random act of kindness from a man thousands of miles away.
That's another thing about being on this platform. We don't do it alone.
No.
It's other people who help us, whether they're in the chat, whether they're just lurking, whether they're just listening, whether they're sharing out the stream or the video content. We don't grow the channels alone. We do it all together. We do it as a team.
Exactly.
That's how I look at it.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's why I enjoy working with other people more than by myself. And you have to have good people to work with. I mean, of course, Mike and Cash. Well, not Cash, but Mike and.
Excuse me, Baron. I heard that. Taking the wrong pills again. I told
yes,
you, man.
You're right. You're
Always the red pill.
Always the red pill.
Always.
Okay, I'm sorry. I took the WAV one.
Yeah, the white pill is good.
And of course, I thank you, Ryan, for spotlighting me. I was very honored by that, and of course, having you on your show. So it's when we work together, we only get stronger. It does distress me when I see these little feuds that you start having amongst creators. It's like, keep it in the back room.
Yeah,
keep it in the back room. I will try never to say anything bad about another streamer on the air. Unless they do something absolutely repugnant.
Yes. Universally despised moments.
Right. Like there's the one chap that was out there trying to justify MAP.
Oh my.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us went after that guy. But obviously, you keep it in the back room. I mean, I'll tell people who I like or don't like in the back room. That's no problem there. We got to be at least in front of the screen, in front of the microphone, whatever. Even if we don't like the other person, we have to remember the end goal. We're all fighting for the same thing.
That's why I call us the Alliance of Alternatives Against the Establishment, modeled on the Alliance to Restore the Republic. You think all the rebels liked each other, folks? They did not, especially the separatist holdouts.
Oh, exactly. And so, like you say, and of course the old saying here from one of our patriots, we either hang together or we hang separately. So what you're doing, I really appreciate. And the fact that, I always step back and say, this guy's crazy. And I mean that in a good way, because we need to have crazy people out there. Because you get people's attention. You help get that word out.
Oh, exactly. We need all the help we can get. Cash Money, if you do have a question, I'm perfectly happy to answer it.
Yeah, I just I'm curious because how did you stumble upon my channel? It was really funny with your video that you were saying, there hasn't been content in a while, and people were watching that, and you say they were laughing. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Not only that, Cash. How many times have I or Baron or anyone else that we talk to offline give you such a hard time about not having content on your channel?
Oh man!
Well, just the other day.
Yeah. And I felt bad about that because I had the stream before with the Saints Row 2, and then everything went to the crapper pretty much, because like, anybody hear me? It was like a bad Star Trek episode, Ryan. And I decided to scrap that stream, and then I did another one yesterday, and I still had Saints Row 2 crash, but I was. What made you find the Phantom Hooligans? Or
it's quite simple. It's a process by which I look for creators such as Baron or Mike, and then I find the people that they've interacted with, such as yourself, for example, and the Phantom Hooligans. And then from there, rinse and repeat. You find a process, and then you mass produce it. That's the thing with My Thoughts, Rising Stars, and suggestion videos. Each section has a structure, and from that structure, you, mainly through scripts, you can mass produce it. And that's why I've made nearly 1,500 videos and a good 50 streams in the last 15, 16 months.
Wow.
So finding you was the easy part. The difficult part was seeing how you would go far as a rising star based on the potential of your channel, despite the fact that it has not made a lot of content. So who did I model you on? I modeled you on fellow creators who you've interacted with and projecting your growth from there. So I think you will do well, you and your crew. It's just a matter of consistency and dedication. One of the four great foes of a creator. So I'm sure you
absolutely.
And that's another thing. If you ever look at Ryan's Twitter, he lets you know how many Rising Star videos he's going to be doing for that day, or a reality-based episode he's going to be doing for that day, or an appearance that he's going to be making for that day.
Openness, honesty, and transparency are vital, because it is the foundation for trust, and trust is harder to earn than gold or Bitcoin, depending on your model of finance.
I wanted to wait on my question because I know how Baron needs a lot of attention sometimes. So,
And we do have a question from Angelus Draven, and he says, question, are we fighting for the same thing, or are some fighting to keep it going endlessly for their own means?
Well, that's definitely a consideration, my good man. There are creators out there who feed off of not just the pop culture war, but the wider culture war. So they have an incentive to keep it going for as long as they can, hopefully across multiple generations, especially if a channel is a creator enterprise with a not just one creator, but multiple creators. So there are definitely creators out there that do weaponize the situation. But considering the fact that our civilization, mostly in the West, but it's spreading across the wider world, is going insane, we all have a greater incentive to bring down political correctness, social justice, identity politics. I put those three together to form woke ideology. We all have an interest in bringing that down, because it'll destroy our world, not but it'll destroy our world where we will suffer a fate worse than death. So there are those creators who do, as Draven is saying, keep it going for their own means. But I think the vast majority of us want to put the final nail in the woke coffin, as it were.
I'm going to use a baseball reference. We want to get that final out. We want to get the 27th out of this game and, save what's left of our culture.
Well, excuse me. It's just also the fact that, and I've said this before, if they would just do the type of content for the woke people and then the content for the non-woke people or whatever, and see which one makes more money, that I think would be a pretty good business strategy. But they will then say that's not fair. Everything's never fair. It has to all be.
You're not fighting an enemy that believes in making money, cash money. You're facing a group that wants to prove a point.
Yes.
And when you've got two forces, one that wants to make money and the other wants to make a point, the force that makes money usually loses, because the point is proven by any and all means possible. But if if it's a business, then the point group will fail. But if it's not a business model, then the point group will be victorious, at least in my view.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Ryan. Do you think movies like Top Gun Maverick are an example of how we are winning the culture war?
I personally think that they're exceptions to the rule, because the vast majority of films and entertainment, unfortunately, are made within the establishment, and the establishment is unfortunately corrupt to the core, but there are a few holdouts, and examples like Top Gun Maverick ensure that alternatives, when they are presented within the establishment and they do very well financially, the people praise it. But it's unfortunate that most people, especially in Hollywood, don't care about making money anymore. They care only about putting a point across that is destructive to our society in the West, which is a damn shame.
Yeah.
But I think
there's still movies out there, I would say, that are still worth seeing. There's still some things that Hollywood is producing besides Top Gun Maverick that are worth seeing. Not Lightyear, but
that was your pick for last year.
Oh, sure it was. Sure it was, Baron. But Minions was actually quite enjoyable. So, there's some. Yeah, Minions.
I prefer Comcast to Disney. Go Comcast. Boo Disney.
Exactly. And real quick, I do want to say hello to Dempsey, and I also want to say hello to DJ Ronnie G.
Yes.
Yep. Great to see some familiar faces.
Now, for you, and not being on them or part of it, but as a viewer, what do you enjoy watching more? Do you enjoy watching shorts, live streams, gaming? What is kind of the thing that you like to gravitate to when you just want to sit back and say, okay, time to relax and enjoy?
Well, first of all, I can't stand shorts. I can't stand the model of shorts, and I know why YouTube especially brought in shorts. One was to combat TikTok, which is absolute garbage. And number two was to hyperinflate channels to the point where they would be prominent, but have no solid communities. And without solid communities, you can't create a sustainable business model. So that's why YouTube have been pushing shorts for quite a while now. In regards to live streaming, I love live streaming, especially when it's directed to people speaking their minds like we are doing now, or when people are gaming together, so long as they have strong internet connections. But the biggest problem I have with live streaming, because my time is unfortunately short, is that, well, for me, they're too long. Their greatest asset is their greatest curse. So I started as a content creator. I will most likely finish as a content creator. And that's why I love the idea of 3 to 5 minute videos of people speaking their mind or showcasing their achievements or things that they have. And so much the better. Keep on going, and hopefully you'll keep on growing. You may not earn any money doing it, but I think that mindset that was very dominant in the 19th and 20th century, that's why America became so strong. That mindset now is being overtaken in the 21st century because of information and technology with trying to prove a point. Because if you can prove that point and spread that point across the world, you can then control the world, which is why the money makers are losing, not just in the pop culture war, but in the wider culture war, unfortunately, because the people who want to make money don't want to prove a point anymore. Yeah. But yes, that's my answer. Hopefully it answers your question.
It passes. It passes. It was adequate. No, I'm just kidding.
It passes because I know myself, and Baron and Cash know it too. There are times Pop Talk has gone on for quite some time. We've had a couple of 8-hour streams.
Oh my
just
God.
because we're having a good time.
Yeah,
exactly. On Twitch before, Ryan, I did, because I had to reinvent myself too with the Phantom Hooligans, because all this YouTube is new to me, so learning how to do editing and so on. I was just always doing gaming streams on Twitch before a few years back, and like I even did sometimes 12-hour streams, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. I know it's pretty rough.
That
Did
explains him.
Twitch give you a Twitch, by the way?
Yes, I had a Twitch. That's right.
That chin of his twitches all the time now.
That chin of mine is amazing. Don't be jealous of it too, Baron.
I am. That's why I got the beard. I sit back and say that's the reason why I got this beard. I don't have that amazing manly chin. It's a very manly chin.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I can't stand Twitch and TikTok. Unfortunately.
Twitch was good before, but Ryan, it's the same problems you see with YouTube. People turn on each other. People are like, "Oh, you didn't raid my channel. You didn't do this." But it's also amazing, just like YouTube, that I've seen the same with Twitch community. People do not pay attention to their chats. They don't care enough. Then it becomes all about money for them, and then they become partnered. Yep, and they lose what the community is supposed to actually be about, and they don't care, and then they change.
We have to move out of that mindset.
Yes.
Mindset. Unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult because for centuries our civilization has been a zero-sum game. You either make the money or you starve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We have the conditions now, ladies and gentlemen, mainly through information and technology, where within my lifetime, and because I'm 23, that's a long time, hopefully, and hopefully, guys, within your lifetime, we'll be in a situation where the service economy goes into information and technology, where most jobs are unfortunately going to be automated. Millions of people's lives are going, or livelihoods rather, are going to be destroyed, similar to that of heavy industry and light industry. We saw that in Britain in the 1980s. I think you guys experienced it in the 90s under Bill Clinton, off the top of my head. But that kind of seismic change is overdue to happen. But because of the chaos of the world, it has not happened yet.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully.
We need to not only come together on YouTube, and there's an etiquette, though. People don't understand, like, streaming is hard work. What we also need to do, and I think this would message be good, especially with social media, is create something. Don't create something to tear other people down. Create something, a game, create a channel, create art, whatever.
Well, exactly. There's nothing wrong with going out and critiquing. People always about to say, "Well, you're being critical," but critiquing can go the positive way as well when you do a critique. But so many people fixate on the tearing down instead of building up. And I think amongst all of us, well, we tear each other down. Mike, Cash, Crit, all of us guys, we tear each other down all the time. But,
we give each other such a hard time. I mean, if folks that are watching right now could only hear us in Discord.
oh my. But I remember talking with Mexican Iron Man. He sat back and said that do like 5-minute, and that's what I consider a short 5-6 minute, not like the TikTok crap. And I'm thankful I don't have it on my phone. I've seen some Twitch stuff, but I haven't really gotten involved with Twitch. It's Discord. Twitter, so I can get stuff out there, and I even have a Facebook that I barely see, to be honest with you, because I'm not social media. But Mike is absolutely right. If it wasn't for the people that are in our chats, there we go. Now I got it right. If it wasn't for those people in the chats, and more importantly, those that aren't in the chat, because you do have people that like to listen, but they don't, for one reason or another, they don't want to be involved in the interplay that's back there. They just enjoy watching it, whether it's that fact they're listening in the car or listening while they're doing something. They're the important ones. Without them, we wouldn't have anything. And if all they hear is us bitching, complaining, whining, and moaning and tearing down, we're going to lose people. People want something positive. And I think when we go out with our solo keys and other things, is about what can we do to make it better and why it's important to us. and you hear people sit back and hear that passion, they identify, I think, much more. So, yeah. Also, when it comes around the live streams, Mix the Guy was saying, try to keep it to an hour. Well, when I was doing After Dark, it was usually going about an hour and a half to 2 hours, because again, it gets to be so much fun because you're talking with people, having great conversations, and that's the important thing, the conversation. So, which is why it was fun being on your show twice already. And I can't wait to be on there again.
Oh, definitely. We always like to speak our minds over at Reality Based, and this great guy knows how to speak his mind. Probably for the third and fourth episodes where we have people on, we talk about topics of the day, and there have been quite a few topics of the day, not just in pop culture, from the MCU to the DCFU, but also in wider culture, where Joe Biden has been taking on a balloon, and it took him 6 days to shoot it down. My goodness. Now, had it been Japanese, he would have shot it down in 6 hours, because it would have probably had a bioweapon in it.
Oh my. It'd be Godzilla.
Yeah.
And, Dempsey brings up a good point here. Busting balls isn't the same as tearing people down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Though some people use others as human stairs to reach their lofty goals. That's true.
Dempsey is right.
It's a damn shame that is the case. I personally, folks, want to be in a position where I can be a regular guest on a creator's show every day throughout the week, and then we'd never have Reality Based, and we would all have a good time talking about topics of the day. I've managed to get Friday with Loki and Dave Bob and Arwin. Monday with Sir Talks a Lot. He's recently rebranded as Talks a Lot Entertainment. For short, it's Talent. So that's pretty good. It's always nice speaking with fellow creators and sticking together, because we need that more than ever. And especially for up-and-coming creators, only in the few hundreds, always nice to get them onto the show so they can speak their mind and also speak their piece, too, because we all have our origins and our different points of view. And that is our strength. That is true diversity, ladies and gentlemen. True diversity leading to true strength. And it's not skin deep either.
No.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you have somebody, I mean, there'd be something different when they're doing like a short, like the 5-minute video or 45-minute video, where it's just them, whatever, and usually it's scripted and such. When you at least get to talk to people like this, they're not scripted. You can throw curveballs at them, not bad ones, just, and you can actually see, is this person genuine or are they full of BS?
Right.
It's a great test.
Yeah,
it's a great foundation, and sometimes you can find people's quirks, as it were, or bloopers, as I like to call them, because it's not easy being in front of a camera. That's why some creators, such as the host and one of the co-hosts, is hiding behind the avatar, which is perfectly fine. Folks, I wasn't smart enough to come up with a creator name, so I just called myself. Looking back, I'd probably call myself Reality Based. Why? Because the truth is reality based.
Right.
Well, Cash doesn't show himself because he's just too damn handsome. I mean, the girls flock to him, and it'd be like a Beatles concert. All this screaming in the background. We couldn't get a word out, so that's why he hides himself. Mike, I don't know why he hides himself, because he's trying to take over Doomcock's spot of being the ultimate arch villain of the universe.
There. You got a face appearance. I haven't done one in a while. There you go.
Good, very good.
3 facial hairs and a chin.
Yeah, I probably on the Phantom Hooligans or sometime I'll pop up with my face again with my hat on like I used to on Twitch, Ryan. But yeah, I just also enjoy talking to other people too. If people want to have me on and want to do interviews and stuff, I'm always interested in that, because there's a lot of interesting people, and after everything that happened with Twitch, when you're just really by yourself, usually, unless you're in VC playing with your friends, that when you're going to your other friend's channel, hey, what's going on? Then after the shows, And then you have these communities, and then they just keep falling apart. Even when you're doing charities, it falls apart because of egos. It's usually the egos. And
that's why I keep money out of what I'm doing, because that's probably one of the reasons that their Jenga towers collapse, as it were. Because that old mindset, because most of the most prominent creators out there, folks, were born in a time where it was a zero-sum game, was the Cold War period. Either the Free West was going to win, or the entire world would be flying the hammer and sickle.
Right.
So it really was a zero-sum game. But these days, it's just confusing. You don't know who's what anymore. What is a woman?
Yeah. The one thing that amazes me, though, is you're only about 2.5 years older than my daughter. And my daughter was born in 2001. This guy down here could be my son, folks. Okay.
Oh, boy. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, you're just jealous, Cash, because you can't be my son.
I don't want to be your son, Baron.
Yeah, you do.
I don't think so.
Because that way, if I drop off, you get all my stuff. That's
Oh, boy. No. I'll take it anyways. I mean, what?
That sounds very communist to me.
Yeah, it does.
He lives in California, so.
How are you still alive?
I don't know. I just am. I've been in Southern California all my life, Ryan. So I've seen all kinds of crap going on here with politicians and all kinds of screwiness, but it never gets boring here. That's for sure. Too. Yep, it never gets boring here. I'll say that.
Always walking around in his flip flops and shorts and the hat off to the side, going, "Hey, yo, dude, man, how's it hanging? Yeah,
yes.
Better get me some Valley Girls, man. Yeah,
that's right, Valley Girls. Yeah, maybe not."
And real quick, I do want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to Resolute Sure.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
And I also want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to Michael Block.
For the longest time, Cash's big pickup line with the Valley Girls was, "I got a spoon for you to gag on."
That was never my. I don't believe in all these silly pickup lines, Baron.
Yeah. Folks, Cash Money is so huge that if he really revealed himself, he'd cause the San Andreas fault to go overload.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Cash Money can put his change in my piggy bank any day.
Well, I will say, as someone who is native to California but escaped California 25 years ago, I'm glad I got out of there.
It's a mess, but I mean, look at what's happened in Minnesota. Jeez, it's just too funny.
We got a live audience here. I don't know if you hear her in the background. No, I didn't break her. You broke her.
Oh, don't get me started on a laughing fit. I'll turn into the Joker, and I won't stop laughing.
Get some Smilex in there, huh?
California, though, I have always said this. There's just too many people here. When you're on the road sometimes, especially on the freeway, there's some idiots always. Somebody want to try to cut you off. Somebody wants to be stupid. But when you go to the supermarket, you don't, unless somebody gives you dirty looks, there's not really a problem.
Too many Mexicans in Southern California, are there? Cash Money.
There's a lot around here. We are the white people are the minority, which is fine. I mean, I went to a junior high where I was the minority, and high school I was the minority. It was different. You
must be bulletproof.
I'm just my parents taught me how to stand up for myself. So. And I'm just a strong-willed person. I don't usually take people's crap.
He knows how to curl up in a ball, and
I wish we could teach a lot of the younger youth and people. And like I said, I just think maybe there needs to be an initiative all the time, a good campaign saying, create something all the time, every week, maybe even on Twitter. Create something, see where it goes.
You know how many times we hear him say, "Yeah, I just started something on Twitter." Those guys just don't understand. I'm probably going to get really flamed on this one, man. I mean,
I'm ready for it, man.
It's almost every day we hear that. It's like, the hell you say? You know?
Wait. Why are you even saying the hell you say? Well, we got that clip.
I know. I like seeing it now and then. So, I mean, when it comes around to it, and he says he's getting into trouble.
The hell you say?
There we go.
I can't. The last few years, especially, like you're on a comments section, people are like, "Oh, dude, I'm so excited about Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo." It's like, they have problems, right? No, yeah, they do. Don't. It can't be, man. It can't be.
Shirley, you can't be serious. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
I never thought that Valve would ever make a games console. It's basically just a Nintendo Switch PC.
The Steam Deck is pretty impressive. Yeah, what I've
pretty
seen.
Expensive too.
Yes,
It stinks.
It doesn't though. Yeah. So now we get to the point, Ryan, where we're at $70 games, and people were like, "Well, it's going to happen because of inflation," and stuff. And you're just like, "Are you people dumb?" Like, "Oh, you are. You have a brain in your head. Do you understand that these companies are getting greedy again?" And so people, one of my friends actually always likes to say, Ryan, he said, "You're allergic to what did he say? Allergic to good entertainment or whatever. You're allergic to fun." And it's like, it's hard when you grew up in the 80s and the 90s, like Mike did, like Baron has, even in the 70s and so on, right? And you see all this entertainment, and you see excited how people were. You go to Universal Studios, people are dressing up. I mean, that still goes on to an extent, but it's not as much as it used to be. And it's just, you see how much people have really care about the characters and care. And so you see things like Velma, and you just go, why are you guys trying to destroy something that people have loved for so many years?
You destroy a culture and rebuild it again.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I call them the American Taliban. They're going over there, they're destroying all the old, and then they don't really have anything to replace it with.
Right, and they don't want to.
No.
Because you need a blank canvas, folks, to start again. So they are the rubber on the blank canvas.
And so they just do such a poor job. They want to push. It doesn't matter. It can be the woke people, Ryan. It can be the non-woke people. They all want to be in these different echo chambers. They're like, "Oh, how could you watch that show on Disney? You're a horrible person." Like, it's just stupid. Or, what you watch the show, it's awful. I remember Rick and Morty. I remember just some random people. "How can you watch that show? Rick and Morty. How dare you? That show's awful. It's written bad. It's this, it's that. It's an awful show." And it's just so funny.
Cash, why are you bringing our private conversation into this?
That's not a private conversation. You never even mentioned Rick and Morty. Go sit in the corner.
Well, yeah, I have. We talked about it a little bit not too long ago because of what happened with the grid.
Yeah. Right. A little bit. But
so they're in your face.
Yeah, for now.
Speaking of in your face, I do want to say hello to Captain Phantom Nerd. Good to see you, brother.
Captain
Always welcome. Always welcome on reality based.
It's just something, man. I don't. The thing is, I'm not against people making whatever they want, Ryan, but they don't also understand anymore a lot of the industry, even Nintendo and stuff. I mean, Nintendo, I'll use them for example. They were like, people want to play Smash Brothers Melee. They have a tournament. Then Nintendo goes, "You know what? That's our property. We don't want them to do that." Okay, so you're taking fun away from people, or you're going to not let people play a game or stream a game. I think playing Nintendo games is fine, but you're never sure with Nintendo. And then with Sony, they will pander a different way, just like Nintendo does. And then with Microsoft, they do the same thing. Look, okay, you want to put pronouns in a racing game, but can I have an option not to do that with my characters? No, you can't. Where we're telling you buy the game, you're going to have to do this. And just silly.
And to kind of get off just a little bit off the topic we have here, but what we're talking about earlier, about content creators, all that, reminds me of when I first met Captain Phantom Nerd. He was Captain Phantom Trek at that time. I did what I call one of my guerrilla streams, where I just turned the camera on, turned YouTube on, and just started talking. I was pontificating about Star Trek, the spirit of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek, the differences between the two, and he started, and that's where you're going. You're looking at the chat, and he was putting stuff in the chat, and he says, "Well, let's come on in." So I brought him in blind. I did not know who this guy was, and had a great conversation. I was about ready to end my stream, and I think we went about 2 more hours after that. And of course, I had to ask him back, and we've had interchanges. And that's one of the wonderful things about when you start meeting the people out there is, hey, this guy seems interesting. Let's just blindly put him on there. The worst that can happen is I have to hit the flush button, which I didn't have to because he was such a great conversationalist. And then when I had him on my show again, and they're a great conversationalist. And that's what's great when you meet this. Yourself, you're a great conversationalist. Mike is, Cash,
Yeah, well, Baron can be annoying sometimes. We have to lock him in a safe. We have to lock him in a safe sometimes, Ryan. He's just too much.
Well, when I used to have open panels on every single edition of Pop Talk, there was one episode where I was talking with Zan Zoltan, and he was teaching me about things that were going on in Argentina and some of the delicacies that they have down there. And Anonymous stopped by. And that was the first time I met Anonymous. He clicked on to the StreamYard link, joined the panel. We got to talking. And then it was another episode where there was an article from Bounding into Comics talking about Deep Space Nine, and he came in again. And
who was that came in?
Anonymous.
Anonymous. Anonymous. Anonymous.
And that clip was created on another time he came on because he was saying that he was watching a Star Trek related stream the night before. It was actually Clobber Times. They were, I think they were talking about Next Generation or Deep Space Nine at the time, and he said that Clobby saw his name and started going Anonymous. As soon as he told me that after that Sunday stream, I made that clip. I said, all right, next time Anonymous comes on, I'm going to play it. And every time I play it, I can hear his teeth grinding. And
I think he likes it, really. To be honest with you, I think he really likes it. I mean, just about everybody has one except for me, because I'm not that interesting. I mean, we even got one for the great Phil McCracken. Now, that's a guy for you to talk to is Phil McCracken.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a number of people in this community, Ryan, that are worth talking on that you can have on reality base that are very interesting.
Just have
Moss, there's Phil McCracken, there's Crit, there's Paul, which I know you've had on.
Spock's Friday nights, the back tube.
There, yeah.
And speaking of everybody's favorite Orca,
there
he is.
There.
Yeah. And if you're going to have Phil McCracken on, just make sure you have your McDonald's coupons to give him.
That's right. Yes, he needs that extra oomph to be more motivated to say things.
Which usually this is why he's mad at us most of the time is because
no
of this.
coupons for you, Phil.
Yeah. So.
Well, to each their own. If you can't take criticism, don't criticize people. I always like taking criticism because we all make mistakes, and in my view, it's always nice to pick fun at crazy people, especially in this day and age where, well, men can be women and women can be men. I always find that funny.
I put on women's clothing and hang around in bars.
Oh,
you know, whatever they want to do and so on, go nuts, you know. But it's just, if they don't think people aren't going to criticize people for whatever reason, they're crazy. That's why I still bring up like the companies. The latest one was the company that's making that game that looks like right now a poor version of The Division. So they bring out a gameplay for 9 minutes, and it looks like they spend more time, as not just me as pointed out, but other people, that the asset of the woman's butt, and that it's like they laugh. Is that where most of the money went in for the gameplay? But
hey, never criticize the woman's butt, okay? If they put effort into a woman's butt, you got to at least go.
Which is funny. And then they think they're worried about misinformation. And this is also a thing now with, it's been more now for a few years. I think it's unfortunately gotten worse since at least 2016, and maybe before that it's starting getting worse. But this whole attack on the fans, Ryan, is just really, it's very disturbing because while there are fans that say stupid things, here's a reality for the gamer, GameSpot, different IGN, whatever. Just ignore it. But they can't. And so then they go after people. You say stuff about The Last of Us 2 like Angry Joe did. Then you have somebody from IGN go after them on Twitter. And it's like, this is not professional. You don't like it, just ignore it. And I get it. You can't always do that, but yeah.
Well, that's why the establishment are terrified of the people. Because if the people were an institution unto themselves, like, say, for example, government or corporations are, it would be in power for all of time. I mean, government literally sustains itself off of the hard work and endeavors of the people, and to an extent, so do corporations. So that's why fans are attacked, because they have the potential, if they banded together and worked together, to sweep them all away. And that's why I coined the phrase the establishment versus the alliance of alternatives. If we put our differences aside, and if we stop being useful idiots for the establishment, we can create our own stories to replenish the stories that have been destroyed and make pop culture great again, one story at a time.
Yes.
And Dempsey does have a question for all of us. Now, I can honestly say I have not seen it, so I cannot comment. But if the three of you have seen it, go ahead and comment on the new D&D movie trailer.
I only saw the first one. I haven't seen this newest one that comes out. I gotta watch it. So
it has potential. I would say it has potential.
I hope so.
Chris Pine looks like he's good in this leading role, and you got Michelle Rodriguez, and I can't remember, Hugh Grant's in this for some reason.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, there's some potential there. As you know, as long as they have fun with it, it has a bit of a goofy side, which it looks like it might, and they care enough about the property, and it could be a big hit. But they have to care enough about the property. If they're going to put in some kind of agenda, some kind of message, and lecture the fans, which can obviously continue to happen. And if they are lecturing you, it should be a good lecture, and it should show both sides, not just, how dare you believe this, and you're a horrible person. Though I think when somebody calls somebody a horrible person or racist or whatever, you just go, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I'm not that person, but thank you. I can be. It's okay. I mean, I live in California, so I'm supposed to be pretty horrible. So.
Well, let's take an example here of how you have some people out there who want to go after those who are playing Hogwarts Legacy. Just because they don't agree with J.K. Rowling and her stance.
Right. I mean, the guy who bought that big, expensive edition and smashed it all up is like, you just gave her money anyways, you moron.
Right. That's what he did.
Hence the saying, it's not about making money, it's about making a point. These people are being driven by a fusion of ideologies, from communism of the past to postmodernism of the present.
Right.
They're utterly insane. They're brainwashed from cradle to grave, from preschool to kindergarten to to all the other schools, and then they go to university where they're literally up to their eyeballs in debt for their brainwashing. And they go out there and they think that they're the bee's knees when they don't know bugger all.
So, have you seen the latest one, Ryan? The latest?
No. I did see the first trailer of the D&D movie while I was a guest of T-Shirted Historian. I must say I was not impressed by the film, and especially the way that Dungeons and Dragons is going as a wider franchise. I do not hold out hope for a movie when the people who control this franchise do not want a certain type of person to participate, a certain type of person that kept this franchise going for decades when it was bleeding out and dying financially.
He's stealing my thunders, folks, and that's good.
Now, Ryan, I know your time with us is limited today, so of the 5 articles that I have lined up, Disney not fighting DeSantis takeover, a special district. We also had the story on the day before studio disavows disinformation surrounding the game. And we also have the story about wokeness having nothing to do with Disney Plus losing 2.4 million subscribers, plus Wizards of the Coast telling white males to stop playing tabletop games, and Chuck Dixon saying James Gunn doesn't know what the hell the audience wants. Of those stories, which one would you like to discuss?
Well, I think 2 that piqued my interest the most would be the one regarding Disney Plus and the one regarding the DCFU, as I like to call it. Hopefully that term sticks. My knowledge of D&D is not the best, so I'll leave that to this great guy. My knowledge on Disney's special status in Orlando is not the best, so I'll leave that to you guys. And the nice ass lady on that game that could well be a ripoff, that's not my area of expertise either, unfortunately. So let's begin.
All right.
Okay, here we go. DCFU.
So this article was posted on Bounding into Comics on February 9th. It's by John F. Trent. It says, legendary DC Comics writer Chuck Dixon reacts to James Gunn's DCU slate. I don't think he knows what the audience wants. And the article starts off by saying, legendary DC Comics writer Chuck Dixon, who created Batman villain Bane alongside Graham Nolan and rejuvenated Firefly, shared his thoughts on James Gunn's upcoming DCU slate. There's a blooper.
Yep.
But I'm full of them here on Pop Talk. And it goes on to say, Dixon shared his thoughts during episode 130 of Ask Chuck Dixon on his YouTube channel, where he was asked by Eric Morin, James Gunn has announced his slate of movies and TV shows. What do you think about what's going on? And goes on to say, Dixon replied, well, it kind of looks like a mixed bag to me. I've got to wonder if Gunn's proposed list is for real. Is it a wish list? Are these things actually going to be put on a schedule? It seems like an ambitious list. Seems like a lot of stuff. It seems like he's going to be writing a lot of it. I mean, if he writes all the things he says he's going to write, he's not going to be leaving the house anytime soon. Then it also goes on to say, but I got to wonder, is this just a pie in the sky? Is this just a wish list? He reiterated. Dixon continued, some of the things seem extremely underwhelming. Some of the things seem to exist only to check boxes. Quite frankly, I don't care. I know you don't want to hear that, but I don't care. I've never seen a DC-based movie that I've ever liked. Goes on to say, I don't think I'll see one.
I wonder if he even means the Christopher Reeve Superman and the '89 Batman.
Maybe.
because I thought at least those were two good outings.
And it also has a quote here that says, and now that they've moved far, far away from the source material, I really just have no interest. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dixon then pivoted to wondering why James Gunn was picked to be DC Studios CEO. The choice of Gunn to basically be the basket they put all their eggs in, I don't understand it, given his track record. Yes, he had enormous success with Guardians of the Galaxy, but if you look over the rest of his films he's been involved with, it's okay. I mean, they've earned money. They weren't blockbusters. They weren't huge. Really, the only thing he was involved with was the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. And then it goes on to say, Dixon then opined, when I find a lot of his, while I find a lot of his stuff entertaining, over time you kind of see the notes coming. I'm kind of familiar with his repertoire. I don't see how it's going to translate to DC. I don't understand why in an industry like entertainment where everything is about conversation or
conservation.
Yeah. Again.
Bloopers.
Thank you, folks. I'll be here all week. Nah, you gotta laugh it off. That's what
Oh
I'm trying to do.
Oh yeah.
I risk you would hand over everything to one guy. And then it also goes on to say, now I understand there's other films that in production that he won't be involved with, but the idea is, as I see it, is that once all these films are finished and released, everything coming out of DC in movies and television is going to be Gunn. All Gunn all the time. I just don't see how you can take a slate like that and have any hits. There's no diversity of thought or approach. Everything is going to be seen through the lens of one guy. He stated he's not wrong.
No. I'm just holding my tongue until the end.
For some reason, I don't think James Gunn is Louise B. Mayer. Dixon hoisted. I don't think he knows what the audience wants. Unfortunately, nobody in Hollywood knows what we want because they don't listen to us.
No.
Dixon then pointed out how much of Gunn's slate appears to be based on newer comics rather than the core DC stories. The other thing I find perplexing is that so much of this new material is going to be based on relatively new comics that appeared within the last decade or so. These are not core basic DC properties or DC stories. He continued, these are like recent reboots, reiterations, reimaginings. And that's fine, except they're not comics that sell particularly well. They're not record breakers. They might have been among the best-selling things at DC. That's kind of like saying, well, this turtle came in first in the turtle race.
Indeed.
It's not going back to the classic material. It's also not going back to material that I think is going to find a universal audience. So for me, it's both concerning and I don't care. I really don't care, he concluded. So basically, without reading the rest of this article, I think we can pretty much summarize this, and I'll just play this soundbite.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Really putting the F in the DCFU, because a lot of people were excited with where the Snyderverse was going to go. You had so many of these stars. They may have been aging a little bit, but there was so much potential there to just go all out. Throw everything we have at it, the irresistible force meeting the immovable object in Henry Cavill versus The Rock, Superman versus Black Adam. But unfortunately, that will no longer happen. You could have had all sorts of other films that I believe that some of them are being released this year, but they won't be released in their sequels won't be released in later years. And it just goes to show that I think the Gunverse doesn't have a leg to stand on, unfortunately, because so many of the fans of a specific faction aren't going to get behind it. Every story should have a beginning, middle, and end, and unfortunately, the Snyderverse did not have the chance to even get close to the end of the middle, never mind the end in itself. But go ahead, Cash Money. I think you were going to say something.
Before he does that, I just want to welcome, of course, John Rendell, my super rich over at Phantomology, and happy birthday!
Good to see you, buddy. Yeah,
happy birthday to you, John.
It's great talking to you the other day. Yeah, the weird thing is, like, you look at, like, I've watched recently with one of my friends, we were watching stuff on Discord, watching Constantine, and we're watching how violent this is and how good this is. And we don't, yes, there was a Constantine movie, but why don't we get a Constantine movie where we're seeing Zatanna and Constantine in the relationship and things that happen and the violence and stuff, and it's rated R, and we learn more about her origins. And they talked about doing an origin story, but that was all before this was, of course, before who bought thing Discovery, right? Discovery. This is all before Discovery, and I don't really understand all these decisions. There's all these comic books left out to dry. We never have gotten an actual live action movie of Nightwing where we can put in Batgirl. I guess Nightwing was supposed to be in this new Batgirl movie. I don't know. Barbara Gordon is oh no white, but anyways, it's still it doesn't matter because they have some good ideas excuse me, and then even in the CW, and then they squander it. Good ideas squander every time. And can't they just keep doing the good ideas? And there's Nightwing's pretty interesting. You know, I would say he's pretty badass, actually. You've got this whole thing where Batman and Dick Grayson have these problems, and then he goes out on his own. He feels he's under Batman's shadow, so he's like, fuck Batman, dude, screw that guy. You know, so that stuff is like interesting, and we don't get that. And I would even like to see Ryan and guys more of Christopher Nolan, but even Christopher Nolan is probably like, do I want to work with these people anymore? I want to go probably do something else. And his brother probably feels the same way. I'm just guessing. They did the 3 movies, and people can like those films or not, but they made a lot of money because they were well-made films. And even if you read the comics or didn't, and you're a purist, and I understand that too, you know, you didn't like the films because you feel The Dark Knight Rises is a mess. Some of our group, we get into those arguments all the time about that. But we have the other Batman film. Well, I liked it, Ryan, but it wasn't. It's like, when is this going to end? Some of this movie, I just like. It's 3, 4. It went on. I felt too long, and this whole thing about how Bruce Wayne is upset with Alfred, and Alfred's not in the movie enough. Those things bothered me. I still like the film, but why can't we have everything? And even this new Catwoman, I didn't care for her much at all.
Well, there are plenty of reasons, unfortunately, that you can't have everything. It's I've always found, as someone who's very lazy, especially physically, that it would be quite simple to take a comic book and turn it either into a very long epic style movie or a television series with a very big budget. But these people don't want to do that. I've been told that's mainly because of ego.
I'm sure it is, yes.
So in such a scenario, there are so many factors in play, unfortunately. There's the creator's ego. There is the desire for the company, whatever that desire is, whether it's to make money or to prove a point. There's also the source material available. Do they take it seriously or do they not? Most of these establishment type figures do not take source material seriously at all. So it's ego-driven stories with a bit of modern-day agenda. No wonder it's failing financially, and no wonder it's failing in terms of establishing a coherent story. But I'm the lazy type. Take something, take it from one media, put it into another, and hopefully people enjoy it. I liked that when Sonic did it, from the game Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 into Sonic X, which was a TV animated show. It's the same. It's practically the same thing across two different mediums, but you can enjoy it for what it is, even if you know how it ends.
Well, well, they've done such a good job with their animated movies, and a lot of them even before Discovery took over, and we could see that on the live screen. A lot of that source material, and they just won't do it. I mean, unfortunately, I don't know what they were thinking with Birds of Prey, and I don't know what they were thinking with 84. And if people liked it, fine. If people like some of Birds of Prey, fine. But the only good thing in there was Black Mask, and that was Ewan McGregor. He was what kept that movie going. Everything else was basically a lecture, and they're missing the point of what the Birds of Prey are. It was not a lecture to say how evil all these men are, but these women will still succeed. All the while, the plot Sonic was just horrible too. Right.
All the while, Sonic just smashing it out of the ballpark, so to speak. Same with the second one, and hopefully with the third one, where they turn the moon into a cannon and try to blow up the world. Hopefully it's that storyline, but you never know. They did take a bit of creative license, but it still worked.
Yes.
You don't know what other movies, working for the audience on a $12 million budget. That's Megan. That movie is making money in the theaters.
Yes.
Hit horror film. Such an original concept. It was a 7 out of 10 movie for about 3/4 of the way. It was a rather contrived ending, but considering its budget and the fact that it is probably one of the most original films, that mainstream films that are going to be released, combined with Cocaine Bear, which I think is due for release too.
Yep, very soon here. In fact, I think this week.
It's good to see that Megan has done so well financially, and hopefully the same will be said of Cocaine Bear. They both do well because they're both very original concepts. They may be contrived in their endings, and they take inspiration from other films, but that's how low the standard is, folks. Are there any other original films within the mainstream released after Cocaine Bear? Maybe Oppenheimer, but that's about it.
Oppenheimer, exactly. Yeah. Oppenheimer should make good money.
So that's because Cash Money's pro nuke. He likes the mushroom-shaped cloud.
Well, Barry, you and I have talked about this on stream, off stream, that if we were going to go see an MCU movie, the only one that we're even remotely interested in is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah, exactly. And that's about it. And, as we're talking here with Chuck Dixon, and I know a couple of weeks ago, I was, saying how cautiously optimistic I was about this. And then, talking with 24 and other people, and of course, this news article and this talking here, my optimism has been dropping, I hate to see. Because, Gunn is he with Alan Moore and Garth Ennis, how much that influences him, and those guys are anti-hero, and you can't have that for superhero. You have to, go out there. I mean, he wants to do Swamp Thing. Is he going to do the Alan Moore Swamp Thing, or is he going to go before that? So when you're doing that as the base, where you don't believe in heroes, then how are you going to do these epics? And comic books are epics. They are epics. These are definitely our sagas of the day, where we sit back and not only enjoy good stories, but when you have great artists, think about all the hard work they put in for the art. Now, trying to get this transferred over or translated over, obviously there's going to be creative licenses with the transferring from the print to the motion, whether it's TV is going to be a motion picture, but it's how you do it. Are you going to be loving about it? Are you going to be like what's his name with the MCU, Taiki Wakuhi or whatever, I can't remember.
Watiti.
Yeah, what did he? And where he goes with an irreverent approach to these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's fine to be irreverent with your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you made your thing off of, like JoJo Dancer or whatever that was.
Jojo Rabbit.
Thank you, Jojo Rabbit.
Playing
that was
Hitler, folks.
That was an interesting film, though.
Right.
I found that an interesting movie.
Right. And of course, in that case, obviously that's your own creation. You can be as irreverent as possible. But when you're going to do a Thor movie or something like that, you have to have reverence to these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ragnarok was actually quite enjoyable, I thought, especially the whole thing with Hulk and Thor and fighting each other. Like, oh, what are we doing? We're being played.
But the thing
today's standards, it's quite good. But think about 2017. The agenda was just sneaking into a popular culture about a year after a certain man was put into office, that sort of thing.
Yeah, right. And the Quantumania, I'm going to give it a chance because the third movie was not, or this will be the third of the Ant-Man films. The second one in the middle with Ant-Man and the Wasp just started falling apart. So I'm hoping that this one stays strong and has a more of a serious tone. I'm hoping, and I hope they don't pull this whole thing like, oh, by the way, Kane is stronger than Thanos and some nonsense. I'll be like, oh gosh,
yeah,
they damn will. You better believe it.
I just have that feeling they could. But I want to give this a chance. I'm usually on board if Paul Rudd is in a movie. I like his style, and I have enjoyed a lot of Paul Rudd films, and so I'm like, and I like him as Ant-Man. So we'll see how this goes. And Michael Douglas is in this.
Cash Money is a Paul Rudd simp, so just let you know.
I'm not, but I do like
but my big fear is he's going to try to do a copy paste of the MCU for the DCFU, and basically do that same blueprint type of thing. It's like you can't do that. They're two different universes. You're keeping up with the Joneses. We have the superhero fatigue starting to come in there. You got to be different. You got to be more comic book and let's go out there and make an action Arnold film. In my opinion, I mean, you take a look. For me, like the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeve, or the 89 Batman. He's like, this is comic book almost perfection to screen. The Flash series from 1990, again, to the little screen. How, obviously they're not following the comic book, whatever, but they have the basics. They have the reference. They keep it still to what it is, and which doesn't bother me. But they did a great job. And, for me, these are almost like comic book perfection when it comes around the films, and that's what they should start looking at.
What they also should look at is stuff that Christopher Nolan did. Yes, he went away from the source material. Yes, people can be upset about Tally, but people will be upset about everything. But if you really dig into The Dark Knight Rises, he's building himself up. It was great to finally see Batman broken after all the stuff he put through his body, all the fighting, and like we've seen that before with The Dark Knight Returns. This is an older Bruce Wayne. He's broken. We've seen that with Batman Beyond. And so I appreciated Christopher Nolan showing that we never really got to see that before. We had, you can like Batman Forever, not like it, bat nipples with Batman and Robin, whatever nonsense. But they have a better direction with that. And then they decide to just go away from that. So we get Birds of Prey. Even the first Wonder Woman film was very good. So if you watch the animated movie that came out in 2009 and you compare that to the first Wonder Woman film, you're like, oh, wow, they've got something here. And then Patty Jenkins like, I need more control. And then we got 84. Now you can like that or not like it, but they disrespected Cheetah. They didn't really disrespect Wonder Woman, is more just the story. And what was the most interesting thing probably about that movie was Pedro Pascal. And he wasn't a type of a certain former president. He's just he's a madman, and in that movie they gave him a kid. In the comics, if you ever read the comic, which was not called 84, Max Lord is demented. He really wants to take over the world. And in the comics, spoiler alert, Wonder Woman actually cracks his head, and Superman comes in and says, "What have you done?" And she's basically like, he's basically too dangerous to be left alive. And that would have been cool to see something like that in the movie.
Well, I'd just like to make one final point on the DCFU. The last time DC brought in a Marvel import, it led to the original Justice League. And look what it led to. My goodness. Zack Snyder had to come back and try to put the pieces back together of his own project. You'd think that folks over at Warner Brothers and DC would have learned their lesson within a Marvel import, but they have not. And they paid a price for it.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say on that.
It's just silly because Joss Whedon, who gave us Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Firefly, whatever, and then you find out this guy's probably a piece of crap, like most people in Hollywood. But you just follow the vision, what you've already been given. You don't go away from it much. You just keep following what was given to you. Just makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you put your fingerprints on it, how you make the film, but you still keep it within that realm. Like look at Irvin Kershner with Empire Strikes Back. Obviously, his fingerprints are all over it, but it still has the same style as the original Star Wars, and of course, Return of the Jedi that follows. And to be a filmmaker, to understand that is something we've lost. I think we really have lost that.
Yep. Yeah,
and I know I see that we got Phil. Phil came in, so we got to say
I
this.
tell you, Phil Crocker gets no respect.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't know why he stopped early there, but he just gets no respect.
Yes, and remember, Phil, you didn't spell remember right. You might want to fix that.
Ooh.
I can't criticize Phil. You know how many spelling errors I make, especially when I put out a tweet?
There's two M's. Two M's, Phil.
Well, let Cash Money have his fun. Cash Monet have his fun. So,
yes. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the other article our guest would like to discuss, and that's from Cosmic Book News. And it says wokeness has nothing to do with Disney Plus losing 2.4 million subscribers. Yep.
Sorry.
And this article,
I had a cough.
No,
sorry about
no
that.
problem. You got to clear up the throat.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm back.
My apologies.
Whoa! Toilet.
Well, that's why I keep the little bottle here for the forbidden lemonade. I don't have to get up and leave. Just have to remember which one to drink of. That's
No, I actually went to the toilet, Baron.
Okay.
Baron, do you need the play-by-play? Is that what you need? Is that the problem?
I don't need any play-by-play.
Baron,
is that a Super Bowl reference, man?
No, it's not.
The Super Bowl. What's that?
I have no idea, but
that'll be on later.
It is, yeah.
Look at that picture. 4 bad shows. The only good one is Gordon Ramsay.
Well, the second one in there that's Cash. That's Cash. Right,
well, Kenobi. It's like
don't simp.
Oh man,
you're simping.
Here he goes.
I'm just gonna say. There's some things there's a few things I liked about Kenobi, but overall, I can honestly say that show didn't make me feel much. It just didn't.
Did you like
At least
Reva?
Andor actually made me feel something. What?
She stuck out like a sore thumb. That Reva.
Oh, she was horrible. Oh, come on, Obi! Where are you? I'll find you. Okay, calm down, lady.
Since when did Star Wars have a Detroit DLC in it?
Well, I mean, she just was. It's a mess. And where was this whole thing about the Inquisitors? Why weren't they really intimidating? I wasn't intimidated by it. Maybe the one, but kind of, but not really. Darth Vader was definitely the most intimidating thing in that show, of course. But Riva had like plot armor. She was just alive all the time. Oh, I got stabbed 3. Oh, I'm okay. I got 3 stomachs or whatever. I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Black Dragon.
No.
The Super Bowl, the focus is no longer on the game. It's who's going to be performing in the halftime show and whatever other crap they want to put in the game.
The M&M advert.
I'll have the game in the background. Yes.
What?
Yeah, there'll be an M&M advert that will. Say, we're back, people.
Well, I'm talking about Cash. He's going to have in the background. It's like, well, come on, man. Come on, man.
The game will be fine with the Kansas City and the Eagles. You just skip a lot of the other crap.
The last halftime show I saw, and that was good. I think it was when they were in New Orleans. And you had the Blues Brothers and I think ZZ Top.
Oh,
and they set off all those fireworks inside the Superdome, but the idiots had the vents covered with all the banners, so the place was just kind of
smoking.
Oh yeah.
I just think you should give more options. Unfortunately, the people who are now running it's all going to be rap and hip hop, and some of that's fine, but I would add rock in there if we can somehow. Rock seems to be, especially now, quite dead. Not the old stuff, but there's really nothing new coming out, and music nowadays, unfortunately, is just a lot of noise. I don't know what to say. It just doesn't really make you feel much of anything except it's noise. And I don't know the last time I've even looked in a number of years that there's actually a good rock band out there. I doubt there is, and I don't think that matters anymore to the music industry.
John Rendell's the man with $1 million ideas. That's why he's my super rich.
I like that. I'm all for that, John. Yeah, definitely.
So this article says wokeness has nothing to do with Disney Plus losing 2.4 million subscribers. This article is by Matt McGlone. It was posted on their website on February 9th. And the article starts off by saying it's currently going around that wokeness is to blame for Disney Plus losing 2.4 million subscribers. However, as much as I want it to be true, it's just not the truth. Following Disney's recent investor call, various Twitter accounts and users have been celebrating the fact that Disney Plus lost 2.4 million subscribers with claims that, see, we're right. And that's because of wokeness. And get woke, go broke. The truth is, Disney Plus only lost 2.4 million subscribers because of losing the streaming rights to sports in India.
But that was a separate loss.
Exactly.
2.4 is America. It was a bigger one in India and the Asian market.
Exactly. It's quite simple that obviously a contract came to an end between the people on Disney's end and the people on the end of Sports India, or whatever they like to call themselves. And good on them, because you don't want to be connected to Disney in 2023, folks.
Yeah, and the thing is so far this article is bullshit. And it's just like Ryan said earlier about apples and oranges. This is an orange. America's the apple. We're going to have to talk apple to apple with the American markets about their losses, and this one is the orange. And they're absolutely right. They're losing it because of content that was for them.
Well, listen to this next paragraph, Baron.
Oh, I'm going to have fun with this.
Let me know what you guys think. Actually, the amount of Disney Plus subscribers increased in the U.S. and North America. And following Wednesday's investor call, the stock price was up in after-hours trading, down due to the overall market being down. They're trying to spin it.
I am trying hard not to bring politics into it, because this is exactly what you're saying. It's the spin. It's bullshit.
Yeah, it's mainstream propaganda. We've seen it time and again, and hopefully more and more people wake up to this kind of manipulation, both in the political realm as well as in the pop culture realm. Once you've seen it, folks, you always see it. But it's hard for normies especially to see the fog of lies that have surrounded them.
Well, yeah, I mean, Cosmic News said back and say, "I wish it was bullshit. You don't wish it was. You're too busy tonguing Disney's bunghole and hoping you don't hit that festering wart that's off of there." I mean, yeah, BS, 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 BS. It's exactly because when we read the article earlier, we had okay, this is a breakdown here and that's the breakdown there. It's like, oh my, you know.
Disney, it's like with Two-Face. You flip the coin. What side is it going to go on? Are we going to get something good? Are we going to get something okay? Are we going to get something mediocre? Are we going to get something in our face all the time? Are we going to get something like She-Hulk? Are we going to get something like Miss Marvel? And people can watch anything they want. I'm not going to cancel any of this. It's just the direction. When you actually read the lore, especially, or you watch any of the 90s cartoons where you had the Incredible Hulk and She-Hulk, and you saw how she's supposed to be sexy, she's strong, and she has a personality, and the way that they just pissed on her.
Twerking, Doomcock's the enemy while we're twerking.
Right.
Yeah.
The twerking, and then the fart joke in episode 2 is ridiculous. It's silly. It's very silly.
And hello to the Padawannabe.
So great to see you, my good man.
Yeah, I'll let Mike go on a little bit more before I pontificate.
This article continues to say, Variety reports on the specific details, bold my own emphasis, meaning the author of this article. It goes on to say the drop in Disney Plus subscribers, which was bigger than analysts expected, was entirely driven by a 3.8 million sequential decline. Disney Plus Hotstar, the version of the service offered in India and parts of Southeast Asia, to stand at 161.8 million at the end of 2022. Last year, Disney lost streaming rights to Indian Premier League cricket matches, which prompted it to lower growth targets for Disney Plus Hotstar in India. In the US, Canada, Disney Plus gained about 200,000 subscribers to reach 46.6 million. Hulu gained 800,000 subscribers in the quarter to stand at 48.0 million, and ESPN Plus increased to 600,000 to 24.9 million. Now, why would you subscribe to ESPN Plus when, I'm sorry, ESPN hasn't been what they used to be for a very long time? You used to be able to go there and actually enjoy watching Sports Center and enjoy watching their commentary on the different sports that they would carry. Now it's just all pandering and other BS.
That's where I was getting to watch some of my rugby. And it's like, now it's like, are you kidding me? Right?
It's just with Sports Center, ESPN, it's like I'd rather just go to the website and check scores.
Hey, take care, John. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday,
Thank you for stopping by, brother.
I mean, if Scott Van Pelt wasn't still on ESPN, and my brother watches that more than Sports Center in general, because we just if he has it on, the TV's on, then I'll watch Scott Van Pelt. He's got some interesting segments, but ESPN overall, I wonder if Stuart Scott was still around, if he would like the direction they've gone. I'm not sure he would. I'm really not. And some people have been fired from ESPN. Some people are suing other people about political stuff. And it's just a dumpster fire. But of course, who owns ESPN? Disney. So you get some things you'll find that are good, other things you'll find that are bad. But yeah, Sports Center, especially when they're like, oh, did you hear about the women's team? And I'm like, look, why don't any sports should do their own advertising to get people to watch their sport, not have one gender or the other help them out, or feel that they deserve this. It doesn't matter what sport it is, men's, women. If it's not that popular, go out and do some actual advertising. Stop whining and feel I deserve this because I'm this or this and this. It's insane. It's insane.
Promote yourself.
Yep. And Resolute Germ also mentions all those numbers are year over year, and bundles are actually triple counted. Yeah. Think about how many people signed up for Verizon during the time where they would get the free Disney Plus subscription.
Right.
Once those subscriptions are out, those people more than likely didn't renew their subscription to keep it going.
Right.
It's all hyperinflated because establishment institutions need to inspire confidence in their investors and in those who are still locked inside the matrix, as it were. So Disney does have a lot of debt, folks. It is worth over $250 billion, but it is one of the only major corporations in entertainment that has lost money, well over $1 billion last quarter. But if they keep going on that trajectory, they will lose all of their value in 240 years. So they don't care if they lose money. They just need to keep their stockholders happy long enough to purport their propaganda, as it were.
Well, I don't think they are keeping their stockholders happy. And of course we have this next paragraph, by the way, contradicts everything this moron has written so far. And I'm not, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be cut. You're a moron. You're a simp. You're
a useful idiot for the establishment.
Right.
Well, let's go ahead and read this last bit of the article where it says, so again, Disney Plus losing 2.4 million subscribers had nothing to do with its content. The people in India and Southeast Asia don't even watch much Disney Plus original content to begin with, but only had to do with Disney losing the license to air cricket in those locations. It goes on to say, if you're going to wage war on woke, you need to do a better job than they do. Hold yourself to a high standard and don't lower yourselves down to their level by lying or through fake news or lazy reporting.
This guy clearly doesn't know how wars are waged.
No. And he's showing his true colors here. This is his absolute... Continue on, Mike.
I've also noticed that now that Elon Musk has taken over Twitter, the far right, there we go. That's where Barron is mentioning where he's revealing his colors, is just as unbearable as far less as all they both do is complain and don't do a thing about it. Do a better job, guys.
Okay, Rhino.
I don't think he's even a rhino. I don't think it is. I think he's absolutely he's part of the establishment. He's not even on there. Of course, he had to turn around and start bringing frickin' politics into it. The big thing is
that's their oxygen, I'm afraid.
Right. So he contradicted himself because you have two different numbers. One for India and then the 2.4, which is for the American market. Then you turn around and sit back and say they had a raise about a couple 100,000? No.
Gaslighting of the highest degree.
Yes. When it comes around on the American market, it has to do, well, and you know what? I'm not going to say it's 100%. Now, I'm not going to say it's 100% because it's also coming to the other area. There's so many streaming services out there that you have to start picking and choosing which ones you want.
Right.
Because this economy that we're having right now is affecting this. So the economy has a percentage to do with it, but it also ties in with the wokeness. Do we want to keep on watching this garbage? Do we want to watch a show where the people who did the show went out there publicly said that, hey, we made a show that we didn't want people to watch, and that was She-Hulk. Now, you can say that behind the scenes as much as you want, but you never come out and tell that in the public. Now, that is something that the investors do not want to hear, and I'm sure is part of a shakeup. And that's why you don't have season 2 of She-Hulk like you're planning on doing. They're going to do it no matter what, until that idiot opened her mouth. And it's like, you don't show people making the sausage.
Well, it's weird because you have a friend, and I have a friend that I'm working on a project with, and she is...
Hey, Fats.
What's up, Fats?
Yes, hello to Fat Steven. Good to see you, brother.
And she, it's just funny to me when any person, even a friend of yours, is like, well, She-Hulk isn't for men. And I'm like, I don't think it's really for anybody. I don't think it's for men, women, whatever. I don't think it's for somebody who dresses up as a cow, whatever. I think it's an absolute awful show. And I've watched. It started off okay when they had Mark Ruffalo and the woman and she was good in Perry Mason. If you guys ever watched that show, Perry Mason, that was a good show. But in this, it's just like they start off the show. It just starts lecturing you. What bobblehead does she have? What? How does she feel about men? She gets drunk and she can't handle being She-Hulk, and then she's human again. And it's just like, this is ridiculous. This is just absolutely goofy nonsense. And when people are like, this show's not for men, I'm like, it's not really for anybody.
Exactly.
If you want to watch it, fine. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But I don't think it really does much of anything to push any good direction, personally. If people feel differently, that's fine.
Well, from my perspective, there is one downside to not having season 2 of She-Hulk, ladies and gentlemen, and that is we can't have Doomcock in the MCU canon. It's such a shame because of the organization known as Intelligentsia, who clearly modeled their masks on Doomcock. I mean,
sure, that must have been it. That must have been it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I mean, you know, you're living in their head rent free when they do shit like that. And when it comes around, Black Dragon was saying about the far right, and of course they had to put that bullshit in this article. You don't have the presence of the far right. Anybody who is right of Lenin and Stalin is considered far right.
Right.
So it's basically the people like us.
Are the far right in the room with us now?
Yeah.
Where are they?
Exactly. Well, we are the alt right. We are because we want to keep what we grew up with untouched with garbage. We just want to keep it within those parameters. So we're the alt right
again.
Right.
But we also need to understand that whatever we say in YouTube, if we're wrong about something, just admit that we're wrong. I mean, even channels like Geeks and Gamers, other channels, they get themselves in trouble because they go, I hate Disney, I hate Disney, I hate Disney. Well, why are you going to their parks?
Right.
So people start seeing that, and so then they start talking about it. And it's like, if you really actually hate Disney, you give them no money, period. At all.
But you know why Geeks and Gamers does cover the theme parks, because they have the theme park channel, and that's how they make their income.
Right.
Making money instead of making a point.
Right. And I wouldn't go to a Disney park. I don't have the money. I don't have the financials, and right now I don't have the inkling to want to do it with all the garbage going along, from the grooming, from from everything.
Kids, don't they?
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, Epstein's girlfriend was in charge of hiring young talent at Disney for a while, so that tells you something right there.
Yep. Yeah. But where I draw the line with this whole thing is when you've got Disney, who uses other websites to attack channels, and they say these people are evil. That's where I draw the line, or they're far right. That's like, no, they're not. I channels that are far left or far right go very, very extreme.
Yeah, it's about proving the point. It's about shock jocks and all of that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't call Geeks and Gamers, Doomcock, all those channels, Christie. I don't call any of that stuff drunk 3PO, all the critical drinker extreme. You don't have to always agree with any of them, but I don't call that extreme.
Well, political extremists usually, my good man, don't care about making money in the slightest.
No.
It's all about spreading their point of view to as many people as possible.
Well, exactly. Exactly. It's just they're trying to convert people. They're on a mission of their image of God. It's like, we're going to really, I haven't really seen any of that on Twitter. I mean, granted, I don't have this big, huge, but everybody that's encountered, I mean, you're going to find within our ilk our ilk, the people that that believe in the same thing. You're going to have people on the left side of the aisle, right side of the aisle. You're going to have people of all different religions or no religion. You're going to have people of all ethnicities. So it's like you cannot bundle us up in this crap of alt right. What does that even have to do with this article? It has nothing except showing your true colors and that you're a moron. And you just can't wait to clean Disney's backside after Taco Tuesday.
Yeah,
and you want to know something, and this is something that my late mother told me when I was growing up. You're going to run into people who have a different opinion than yourself.
That's right.
So, what are you going to do? Are you going to throw a temper tantrum every time someone disagrees with you? No.
Exactly.
Take the time to listen to their point of view and present your point of view. And if you disagree, you disagree. Just move on.
Yeah,
That's very Greek of you, Mike.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I like hearing different opinions about stuff.
Yeah, me too. You want to. Yeah.
Right, and that's what Star Trek was about, where you sit back down and you start talking about what the episode was about. I mean, I'm talking about real Star Trek. I'm not talking about this propaganda BS space travels that they have out on Paramount Minus.
Paramount Minus, wow.
I'm talking about, stuff that actually does make you think, make you talk, converse, and start seeing. It's like, convince me I'm wrong with argument and words, not sitting back doing the ultimate, you're an S in the full, because the moment you start doing that, you lost.
But you're wrong.
Unless you have something to back it up. With.
But you're wrong half the time, Baron. You know that.
No. Hey, when it comes around to a 50-50 chance, 80% of the time I'll be wrong. So, I mean...
it just never. This is what we do all the time, Ryan. All the time in BC.
That's
we like to give each other a hard time.
Yes, we do.
Here on the show.
Not just on the private. We do it right here.
Well, I mean, look at what Robert Meyer Burnett is, and I was talking to my friend about this the other day. He's pushing fans to come back and watch the third season of Picard. And do we want to? I don't know. I've watched one episode of Picard, and that was season 2, and that was because of Crit, and that was a pretty decent episode. I wouldn't say it blew my mind, but do I want to watch it? I don't know, but I have a friend who watches a lot of this. He gives it a chance. He's got Disney Plus, and I give him credit. He watches it, so if he needs to debate with people, he's already watched the show. And then you have other people, this show's crap. But you didn't watch it or try it.
I'm of the view, ladies and gentlemen, that Star Trek Picard seasons 1 and 2 were a disaster solely because of the machinations of one Alex Kurtzman. Now, he has made so many errors throughout well over a decade now. He has been part of that institution. Now, I am hopeful that his influence as a result of his many failures just keeps going down lower and lower and lower to the point where he has barely any input in the final season of Picard. And I think we're going to see that in the final season, because I'm hearing a lot of good things from prominent fellow creators who are not fans of the establishment, especially Dave Cullen, who, in terms of politics, was purged from YouTube, but his pop culture channel is still active. He has sang the praises of the final season of Picard, and I think the final season of Picard should have been the one and only season of Picard. Just TNG 20 years later, or 25 years later.
Well, that sounds like what they were trying to do with that. But, it really comes down to, with that Picard, is the two camps is, it's really good, you should watch it. And the other camp is, we've been let down so many times, why do we even want to give it a chance? Because,
exactly.
We don't want to, because of what you've done to us before and how you insulted. And Patrick Stewart is much to blame with stuff that they do in Picard, because this is what he was wanting to see the character of Picard do. So it's like, not only do you have Kurtzman, but you have the people that were involved in Next Generation losing their way and start going, with this pablum. So, I'm absolutely convinced. Maybe the season 3 is going to be what we were wanting. Season 3 is going to be that great, send off for the crew because Star Trek Nemesis wasn't.
No, it
but
wasn't.
How hard is it to get excited? I mean, when I saw the trailer, I thought, "Ooh, this is impressive." I can actually start feeling a little bit in my heart that, "Ooh, this looks like Star Trek." But we were led down that road already. We have been lied to. We have been insulted. We have been told to F off. So it's easy not to watch it because of that. It's like, okay, fine. Now you want me to watch? No, too late. Too little, too late. I mean,
well, I will say, gentlemen, that unfortunately it's time for me to go, which is a damn shame because
it is.
I've had a wonderful conversation, but I'm a guest now of the Dork Side of the Ring with Pop Culture Minefield. We'll be talking about...
you're talking to Dorky, huh?
Talk about wrestling, and I'm sure we'll have a great time. Thank you for having me on, Mike.
Thank you for coming on, Ryan. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Ryan. Please come back. Please come back.
With Cash Money.
We'll do it again soon, man.
Good.
And say hi to Dork for me.
Oh, sure. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, bye for now.
Take care, Ryan.
See you, Ryan.
Take care, Ryan. Thanks again for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Ryan's channel. He does great content. And who knows, you may even see yourself featured as a future rising star.
Look at that. Right. Number 280 right here.
Number 153 right here.
Yeah. Cash doesn't even know which one he is.
He doesn't.
In the 200s. I'll have to check.
And also, real quick, let me just find their link. I'm going to go ahead and put Pop Culture Minefield's link in there as well. For anybody who is not subscribed to Pop Culture Minefield, not only will you see the Dark Knight over there, but remember, that channel is all because of Gary and Keith.
Right.
That is their baby. Yep. And two great guys I would love to have on Pop Talk one of these days.
Yeah, we got to shake them down. Get over here.
All right. So any final thoughts on that Disney article before we move on to one of the next ones?
Well, I mean, how many of those pictures he had on there were absolute turds? Lightyear crashed because why? It was woke. Kenobi is not held in high regard with a lot of people because the woke. She-Hulk crashed and burned because of what? The woke. You cannot say that Disney is not hurting because of the wokeness. It is. And people are voting with their pocketbooks. There are options out there, especially in these times. And they're one of them that's crumbling because they're going to be sending their products out to other streaming service because they know they need to get some money somewhere. Might as well at least send something over there and we're getting some money back in, so we're not hurting as much. But it all comes down to one thing: the woke crap.
Exactly. Cash, any final words on that article?
It's Disney is just always up in the air. As I said, I enjoyed Andor, but I did not feel much at all for Kenobi or Book of Boobaloo. So I just the way that they did those shows, and there was just a lot of things in there that just went, what the heck? And I was waiting. The Mandalorian I did like.
No, Mandalorian season 2.5 is what Book Boobaloo was.
Oh yeah, it was, but it wasn't. Yes, there are some episodes in there that should have been in season 3 of The Mandalorian, but that'll be coming out. Yes, Disney is just it's a roller coaster. You can find stuff to watch, not always, but even like the kids shows. Like I'm worried about Phineas and Ferb coming back. I don't know what Disney's going to do. This whole Proud Family thing is just an embarrassment, and
it is.
Just they just keep doing this stuff, and I really feel their live action movies have just been. They either want to change them, like Lady and the Tramp. I just don't think they're necessary. I just really don't.
Right.
I don't think we need live action movies of the great animated films. I noticed they haven't touched Robin Hood. Robin Hood's a classic too. I just wish they would stop doing these things, but they just keep doing them. So they're getting money somewhere. And remember, stuff like Avatar is now under Disney. So they're getting money other places from other properties. So,
but it will be. I'm going to be waiting to see the divesting of properties or the complete total shutdown of property with Disney, because that's one of the like things. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to say anything with Ryan on this. But one thing I disagree with is, no, them losing all this money is affecting them all across the board. They've been having to lay people off.
Yes.
So I mean, you don't lay people off if money doesn't matter, and it's going to be, what are they going to sell off first? Which property are they going to sell off? ESPN? Are they going to sell off ABC? Are they even going to be bold enough to say, you know what, Star Wars? Maybe we can get a good money for Star Wars, and so it can be somebody else's headache.
I mean, they could, and Iger fired what, 7K people recently, so laid them off.
Yeah, I think it was originally reported as 70, but it's really 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we get
and in case we didn't say it earlier, I do want to say hello to JetSparks373, who says, "Book of Boba Fett." I am Boba Fett. Actually, I do have a clip. At least I think it's still up here, unless I removed it to make some room. I might have done that. I've got that one too.
It's a good one.
Let's see. I'm looking. Well, I'll play the Bantha one.
Like a Bantha. Yes.
Book of Boba Fett, I did have high hopes for that series.
Yeah.
Especially after it was teased at the end of Mandalorian season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just crashed and burned.
Yes, it did.
All right. So we're going to stick on the Disney front because I think this is an interesting story to talk about next. And it's about Disney losing their own governor rights as far as Disney World and the Reedy Creek project. And let me just go ahead and bring the article up here on the screen. But according to Variety, Disney will not fight DeSantis' takeover of Special District in Orlando. And this is by Gene Mattis. It was posted on Variety's website just yesterday. And it goes on to say Disney will not fight a bill that gives Governor Ron DeSantis board powers over its Orlando theme parks after the bill passed both houses of the Florida legislature this week. The bill establishes a new district to assume the powers held by the Reedy Creek Improvement District, which Disney has controlled since it was created in 1967. The new entity, the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, will be run by a 5-member board appointed by DeSantis and confirmed by the state Senate. In a statement, Disney said it is ready to work within this new framework, indicating that it will not try to challenge the law in the court. Legislature moved to dissolve the Reedy Creek District last April after Disney came out against the parental rights in education law, known to its critics as...
I hit the wrong button. My apologies.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, you better be sorry. I mean, what?
Known to its critics as the Don't Say Gay bill.
Oh, no, this again. Yeah. Which they never said that in the... Anyways.
Yeah. Some observers have suggested that Disney could file a First Amendment lawsuit or seek to challenge the takeover on various other grounds. But Jeff Vail, The president of Walt Disney World Resort said in the statement released on Friday that the company will accommodate itself to the new reality. Goes on to say, for more than 50 years, the Reedy Creek Improvement District has operated at the highest standards, and we appreciate all that the district has done to help our destination grow and become one of the largest economic contributors and employers in the state, Bell said. We are focused on the future and are ready to work within this new framework, and we will continue to innovate, inspire, and bring joy to millions of guests who come to Florida to visit Walt Disney World each year.
I'll just take it.
The legislation was introduced on Monday. It passed the State House of Representatives on Thursday on a vote of 82 to 31, with 81 Republicans and 1 Democrat voting yes. All 31 no votes came from Democrats. Goes on to say the state Senate approved the bill on Friday on a party line vote with 26 Republicans in favor and 9 Democrats opposed. It now goes to DeSantis for his signature. The Reedy Creek Improvement District has broad authority, not board authority, over zoning infrastructure, fire response, and public utilities over a nearly 40 square mile area in Osceola and Orange counties. The entity levies taxes on Disney and issues tax exempt bonds for infrastructure projects. As by far the largest landowner within the district, Disney has had the power to elect the 5 members of the Board of Supervisors. In establishing the new district, the legislature left almost all of its powers intact. Legislation does remove the power to build a nuclear power plant and an airport, but those powers had never been used. The practical effect of the change could end up being negligible, and park employees and visitors are unlikely to notice any difference. But DeSantis and future governors will have a broad power to make life difficult for Disney if they choose to exercise it. Goes on to say it's like Disney is operating a low security prison where they can still do what they want to do, but there are guards around them at all times. Sorry. It also goes on to say that this was from Rep. Anna Askamani. I hope I'm saying that wrong or right. Who knows? And it also goes on to say they can't speak up against the governor ever. It also concludes by saying, but fighting the law in court would have carried its own downsides. A lawsuit might have dragged on for years with uncertainty over who was truly in charge of the district and leaving the district staff incapable of executing projects. It would also have embroiled the company further in a local culture war that it has been trying to extricate, sorry, sometimes I mispronounce words, itself from. Yeah, I know. Too bad Phil's not here.
You'll make it, man. You'll make it.
There was no guarantee of success, as many observers said that the legislature has broad latitude to take away authority it had previously given. In the past, Disney has been a major source of campaign contributions in Florida elections. The company suspended contributions to politicians of both parties last March as the Don't Say Gay controversy erupted. As of yet, those contributions have not restarted, at least that they know of. So, Cash, what are your thoughts?
I don't. DeSantis is just tired of all this nonsense. I mean, the fact that you go to a Disney park now, I guess, from what I've read, and they don't say ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, but not sorry, but what it covers everybody, and I'm tired of picking and choosing words. I'm tired of this political correctness. I'm tired of hearing about executives at Disney getting involved in actual bad stuff. I won't go into the details of that, but I mean, there's been articles of that already. But and these are executives too, who have high positions. I'm tired of that kids have to see these cartoons that just don't seem to have values, and except maybe like stuff like Phineas and Ferb, and if there's a good message. I can't blame DeSantis for doing this as long as it's helping the people of Florida and we're sending the right message, and it's not another politician doing this to get brownie points. And unfortunately, a lot of politicians do that instead of really caring about the message. But I think DeSantis is just really tired of all this stuff. And unfortunately, Disney has connections with China, and we know how, things can go with that. And it's just a giant mess. So I hope what he's doing is the right thing.
Well, I mean, if you're for getting rid of corporate welfare, you should be for this. Mm-hmm. If you're tired of big corporations, quote unquote, getting away with stuff, especially when it comes to this, you should be for this. And my attitude is that don't stop at Disney. Keep going with the others, because they don't need to have those special garbages around them. Yes. So I mean, my aspect is come on, keep going. This is a good start. And like Mike sat back and said, nobody who was for this was saying don't say gay. That was something that was invented by the press. Just like the Star Wars project, under Reagan. That wasn't done by the administration. It was done by the press. But of course, what happens when George Lucas was doing the Phantom Menace? He had to have Newt Gunroy, and that's supposed to be a chain. I think it was, I can't remember, one of those guys. No, one of the Neimoidians was a corruption of Ronald Reagan's name, because it was his little shot back at Reagan for the Star Wars. But it's like Reagan didn't even do that. It was the press. It was the media.
Right.
So I mean, again, it's in the area.
Yes. Well,
Star Wars defense system. There we go. Yeah. And again, it goes right into the area of the propaganda BS. As it comes right down to it, I think that he is absolutely sincere about this, DeSantis. Yeah. But yeah, let's get rid of corporate welfare. It comes right down to that. It's my libertarian leanings coming out.
What do you want to call him, Padawannabe? I mean, how many cartoons are there? It seems more like these cartoons how many cartoons are there to actually help children? They're watching a Muppet Babies cartoon, and there's something about Gonzo in there Gonzo is not really a gender, people.
No.
It's just Gonzo. He's a Muppet.
He's an alien. We found that out. Muppets from space. If anything, he's a foul sexual. He loves his chickens.
Well, just like with that Transformers article I read a few weeks ago on Pop Talk, where they're saying there's the non-binary Transformer. They're robots. They don't have a gender.
They don't have a gender. Yeah. They're robots. But everything there's cartoons from. I'll say there was Gravity Falls, which I think is a good cartoon for kids and adults. Phineas and Ferb, Star versus the Forces of Evil. That's 3. And yes, even in that show, Jackie turned gay, but the way that they did it, it was like, oh, well, this makes sense. Like it made sense. Or Marco had to, he would dress as a girl when he was in Star's World and stuff, but he was first undercover. Then he liked cross-dressing a lot. That always made me laugh. But considering he's a straight little kid or a teenager, but the show was well written, and it was under Disney, and it is a Disney show, but they're not we're not getting that. You don't want to turn on. I don't know if kids want to turn on cartoons anymore. Do they want to see stuff like what's going on with the Proud Family? That's just dividing people again. It just is. It's silly.
That was I mean, I seen bits of that. I didn't even have the volume. I've just seen how they were drawing with that attitude. It's like, oh yeah, you're going to really win people over on that. And on the tomato meter, of course, all the sycophants are giving it the high one, but when it comes around to the average viewer, 10%, 10%.
Yeah.
Rating from the audience score. So. You take a look at that. Is like, do you really need that garbage? Do you really need someone be in your face telling you that you're a piece of shit? Which is what majority of your audience is.
Yes.
I don't want when we're in an era where people sit back and say about positive reinforcement for kids and all that. So let's have a commercial, a cartoon out there telling a large segment of the community that they're worthless pieces of shit. Wonderful job. Yeah. That's not going to cause issues, is it?
Right. Yeah.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
No, of course not. Why would it?
What you need more is something like you can't do that on television, where the biggest. Just a second here, please.
All right.
Where there was no agenda. All it was just stupidity. Let's go out there. There's not learning a lesson or anything, because their attitude is these kids have been in school for all day. They need something to release. That's what you need to start looking at for children entertainment.
Agreed.
I mean, look at the original
messages. Bring back stuff like, yes, they were cheesy what happened with G.I. Joe and He-Man, but they wanted to give messages to kids to say, hey, you know what? You can always be better than you are. You can always do something great. And there's nothing wrong with those messages. We need to bring those messages back to children.
Yeah, bring back the PSAs at the end of the episode that say, today's episode was about this subject.
Right, like He-Man did. Orko learned that peeking into the women's locker room was not the best thing to do, especially when you got a finger to the eye.
Yep.
I mean, one of my favorite ones from G.I. Joe. Don't ever touch a down power line. You don't know if it's going to be live or not.
Right, right. Yes.
Don't touch that mine that you found on the beach. It might go off.
Yep.
I remember that was a big thing. You're on the shore, just make sure, No, I mean, again, you take a look at with Disney, and it's sad. It's sad to see a giant fall like that, and then they're the ones that are falling on their own sword, blaming everybody else. It's like that cartoon meme where the guy's on the bike, he puts a stick in the smoke, and he starts cussing everybody else's fault.
Yep.
It's like no, it was you that did that, and quit trying to project on there. So.
Yep. You do have SpongeBob on CBS, because of course CBS owns Nickelodeon, and SpongeBob has some good messages. I still find SpongeBob funny, which makes me laugh. But the cartoons that you see for what these kids are doing, and then on top of it, there has to be messages with ads with children in it, or teenagers about these political. It doesn't need to be there. It really doesn't, and it just causes more problems and friction. It's not actually helping the issue. They can do it, but I don't believe it's actually helping the issue.
If I could vote, I'd vote for Bob Petitzman. Oh, wait a moment. This came in the mail with my name on it. It's a ballot. I can. No.
And Resolute Germ makes it perfectly clear right here, because of those of us who grew up in the 80s especially, we know this. The best cartoons' only agenda was to sell toys. Right.
And that meant one thing. They had to keep us engrossed in watching it. They weren't going to get those sales if the kids weren't watching the show, so they had to have something to pull the audience in. And it wasn't necessarily the fact that, oh, look, we got this new thing you can buy in the store. But an actual story to follow along with it, and it's like, oh, that's now in the store now. We can go buy it and play with it. how can you get sell something if you don't have an audience?
That's right.
That's true. And now I think it's a perfect time to move on to our next article. And Barrett,
You want me to do it? Oh, okay. Let me get this all set up.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to have fun now, boys and girls and boys. Let's see. Let me just do here, and I'm going to be reading this blind, but I have some inkling of what this wonderful pile of. Well, it's not the article because Bounty the Comics do a good job reporting. Unlike Cosmic News Network or whatever they call themselves, that like the tongue. Various
But Bounty in the Comics did do that article about how we're defeated. They can be annoying too sometimes.
Well, yeah, but you know what's and actually that's actually kind of heartening to me because it means it isn't necessarily an echo chamber if they put something out like that where it's like so yeah, I mean, okay, fine. You have an article, blah blah blah. So I got to get points on this, but this is from Bounty in the Comics. There's a nice little view of your United Colors of Benetton and D&D in Faerun, not Faerun, Faerun because they're in the Forgotten Realms. This is written by John Del Araz and is dated on February 9th, 2023. Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons executive Kyle Jar Jar Brinks demands white males leave tabletop gaming. We're gonna have fun, boys and girls. Okay, get your floaties, get your seatbelt fastened. Wizards of the Coast, or WotC, I'll go with WotC because it's easier to go that way, but just so you know when I say that, has made several questionable decisions when it comes to their new 1 D&D system, or basically 6th edition, for Dungeons and Dragons. Longtime fans of the game have been complaining that the basic elements of D&D, which made the game special, have been stripped from this newest edition. Exactly. Now, one of the game's designers has come out and made an explicitly racist statement implying he wants white people out of role-playing. And there's a lovely little painting. You gotta enjoy some of their artwork, though. Mm-hmm. Players have already become upset about the subscription model of the new D&D, where 1 D&D appears to be using paid subscribers as beta testers for a game as it develops and changes. Such practices are common in the video game industry, where companies fix the bugs in their games through the post-release updates. Still, for tabletop playing, players are used not to have a complete book to play their games without having to worry about it working or not. Yeah, basically as it goes, all a player needs is the player's handbook, and that's the case. On top of the format and rules debacle, WotC has been removing tropes associated with some of their fantasy races, as they believe those races exemplify real-life human cultures. In other words, you guys are the racists because you look into it too hard, because you're trying to find something. I'll wait till later. Most famously, several woke activists have compared orcs to black people and tried to project their own racist proclivities on normal people who just want to pretend to fight monsters. And of course, here's a race detail of a half orc. And, isn't that a beauty, folks? I won't get into it.
I don't know. It looks like me.
Well, if you're, but I think that's a woman. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. In a recent interview,
it was just trying to make a joke.
Cricket song. No. And a recent interview.
You want crickets? I can give you crickets.
Yeah,
give me a second.
We love crickets here. Eat the bugs. As he searches for it. Does he really have crickets?
I gotta look through all my sound clips.
He's looking.
I have too many of them.
Yes, you do. I know you absolutely do. It's sad.
Here we go.
It makes me cry. There we go. Love it. What a sound. In a recent interview on the Three Black Halflings channel, however, WotC's executive producer Kyle Jar Jar Brinks gave an interview revealing the designer's bigoted basis. You know what? In this case, it doesn't bother me that you're throwing those words into this article because it absolutely is. This is not the face of the hobby anymore, Jar Jar said. And I think there's been mistakes made in past years where people assumed that D&D players were all, white dudes in a basement, which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. So in my viewpoints, guys like me can't leave soon enough. Deep breath. And we'll continue on because
you'll get through this, Barrett. You'll get through this.
Because that one statement, that whole thing is just loaded for fun. Explicitly calling for white males to leave the hobby is a new low for the role-playing company, especially as they constantly tout diversity and inclusivity as one of their core values. I'm inserting the quotes, by the way. An executive calling for an entire race to leave the hobby would have met with an instant firing if this were in regards to any other race. But as of this writing, WotC has not even made a statement regarding their employees' overt racism. And yes, it is racism. Comments on the live stream savaged the interview, with one viewer saying, "I think their best bet is to just stay silent, because every time one of their leaders," and that is actually the story, "discusses the hobby, they prove how out of touch they are with their customers more and more." I could add some more words to that one. YouTuber Diversity and Dragons also spoke out about the situation, voicing his disgust with being told he's not welcome as a customer at WotC. I'm assuming that's what they wanted to have in there. He said in his reaction video, "It's certainly racist. It's proof that Wizards of the Coast does not want the business of what was a large part of their traditional fan base. Over the last several years, it's become in vogue to attack whites and male demographics among the fandom's elites. As companies continue down these paths, they will only find they will be losing customers along the way, as many, like Diversity and Dragons, are fed up with being told they are not wanted." What do you think of WotC's stance on white male players? Leave a comment below and let us know. Let me just scroll this back.
Real quick before you give your thoughts, Barrett, I do want to say I do want to say hello to Troy Pacelli of Friday Night's Last Call with Troy Pacelli, who says the worst part about all this BS is that many of us playing D&D stopped buying new editions years ago because we're tired of buying the same books over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Troy, he will be a guest of ours this Wednesday on the third collector stream here on PACIFIC414.
He is?
Yes.
He'll be on that?
What the hell you say?
That's just for you, Troy. We do it out of love.
And Barrett, I'm going to play this before you take the podium.
He said, "Today is a good day to die."
It is. It is. Well, not for me. Not for me. I'm Okay, first of all, put your money where your mouth is, Jar Jar. Quit.
Yep.
You're a white guy. You even sat back and said, "I'm not like white dudes like me." Then leave. Quit right now. Walk out that door and say, "I want somebody who is not white and not male sitting in that chair." You know what? He ain't going to do that because I'm trying not to get this channel shadow banned. The big thing is the hobby. Yes, we joked. They're taking the joke serious about the guys in the basement playing the game. You had the nights at the dinner table where we'd sit around the dinner table and play the game. Are we even in a library or in a store? The thing is this hobby has been diverse. Yes, I could probably sit back and say in the day the majority, our high percentage, were your white males, but we had people who are black and Asian. We had all across the boards, and we also had women and girls that were involved in the hobby as well. And you know what? The big thing is they were welcomed. They were not shunned. They were not told to go away as long as they were willing and serious about playing the game.
Right.
So to go out there, this is them doing what they accuse of doing. We don't want you. Go away. No serious group of gamers has ever said that. Along with Jar Jar frilling around with the open games licensing, which has caused a massive exodus of people wanting to have open game supplements to their games. This statement in and by itself has been nothing but a goldmine to Paizo, where basically they had 8 months of sales in I think it was 1 week. They can't keep up. And another game system, the same thing. They're experiencing like about 3 months of growth in a matter of a few days. You are effectively have driven away the audience who have been there. They have old folks like me, 54 years old, who has seen rises and falls with TSR, how they were almost gone, and it was because of people like us that kept it alive, because we still had faith, even in those dark days, and going from one edition to another, and then of course to the third edition, which I think was great. First and third, great. Of course, they took another hit when they went to 4th edition because 4th edition was crap, and that's where Paizo and Pathfinder shot up above and beyond D&D and WotC. But then what happens? They came out with 5th, and they started taking control. They had a good thing going, so what do? They do this. And now they're going into the freaking toilet. Big time. And hi, Anonymous. And yes, when I sit back and say people sit back and throw out the racist term as being losing an argument, unless they can qualify it. It is racist. It is bigoted to go out there with something like this and tell a segment of society to fuck off, that you're not welcome.
Which is what they're doing.
Right. Which is being hostile to them. You're being bigoted. You are being racist by doing this. And that's the perfect example. And not only that, hypocritical, because you're more than willing to sit on that damn throne pontificating this crap, but not leaving and showing the rest of us how noble, how brave and stunning. Well, you know what? 2 in the brave, 1 in the stunning for you, buddy. Because I know you don't have a set of balls. This is the ultimate insult, and this is the reason why we are fighting. This is the reason why they're losing. Watch Hasbro have those sales go down. Watch WotC go, what did we do wrong? I thought we were doing everything right. No. You've been doing it before with other stuff. You're going out there with a evil clown character called Fatco, which was one of the systems they had in the 2nd edition for figuring out how to do attacks. And it was a blatant attack to the old-time gamers with your imaginary attitude that we were never welcoming. Well, how does a hobby grow if you're not welcoming? If you love something, you want to spread it. That's how I got into the game. Someone goes, hey, you want to play D&D? What the hell's D&D? Well, come on!
That's your passion for D&D is the same with my passion, dude, of how I feel about Japanese RPGs. Mm-hmm. They help people read. They give you a great adventure. Mm-hmm. You have characters. And for people to change it to say you can't have attractive characters anymore, you have to do this. This character might be trans, and this. I don't understand how this helps with bringing the game more to life and going on the adventure. And so if you make your own game and you're just not interested in putting that in, now a number of people are telling you you're a bad person. But like you said, even Japanese RPGs, anyone can play them.
Right.
Men, women, whatever, they can all play them. They can find an adventure in them. And to just sit there and say that this is wrong because it's written, it's like, did you actually sit down and look at the character of what they say? So we'll say the female. This could be a scenario in D&D as well, because D&D is the foundation of pretty much everything, pen and paper. So then we go from there, and we have that. And so if you have a situation, okay, a barmaid goes into starts flirting with this is what what are you going to do in this situation? Is somebody during that game going to say, oh, how terrible, how could you do that? Like, it's silly. And so we're changing these things, and we're also telling other cultures like Japan in the West that they are wrong for doing certain things. It's not other people's visions, and that's why we call, unfortunately, these people drones, because they want to see one way, and if it's not their way, it's time to cause problems. It's
two
this
words.
Person is a person. He's this Kyle Jar Jar Brinks. He's a perfect example of either virtue signaling, or he really means this, and it's like, aren't you a white guy, dude? So isn't it time for you to go?
Well,
like you said, no.
Oh, I think he's one of the pigs that learned how to stand up, and 4 legs bad, 2 legs good. He's one of the 4 legs, but he's virtual signaling enough that, well, I get to keep my job. I think he truly believes it, but he's hypocritical. Right. But there's 2 words though. It's called home brew. If you want to have all your elves black, are American Indian, are Asian, you can homebrew it that way. Fine, no problem. If you want to throw in Tran or whatever, you can do that, because the system itself is neutral. Now, of course, they were, they went out there with their hat in hand saying, "Oh, we're so sorry because in the new Spelljammer we had a simian-like race, and oh my God, that that could offend the black community." You racists! You're the ones that's projecting a group of people who've been around since 1982. And if that's the case, I don't have it with me, but the Oriental Adventures book, open up. There's a race that's literally a baboon race. Is that just as insulting? No, but that's out of Chinese or Asian folklore.
Right.
But okay, let's go around. When you are going out there and start saying, okay, if it's anything else, orcs are demeaning the blacks, but so is this other race demeaning the black. I mean, everything that's not human is demeaning the black. You're the ones that are now making them into a subhuman category, not us, because we don't see it.
Look at something like Undercover Brother. There's this whole joke about only white people like mayonnaise. Are we supposed to get all offended? No, it's hilarious.
Yeah, mayonnaise is spicy. Yeah, I know, exactly. I mean, it's a laugh. But
heck, when you remember when White Chicks came out, were we supposed to be offended? No, we're supposed to go to the theater, sit down, and laugh our asses off.
I just couldn't watch that movie. I just have no opinion on
it. They look freaky. I was like,
yes, they do. Yes,
yeah. It's like, okay, I'll just back up slowly here, folks. Well, Lenny Henry did the same thing with a movie like that, where he's pretending to be a white guy trying to hide from the mafia. I mean, am I supposed to be offended? Am I supposed to be offended that the character of Callus in The Rebels, who was a white guy, was voiced by a black guy? Should I be offended?
No. You want to know why you're not supposed to be offended? Because the actor who provided the voice did a damn good job.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's all I care about. I don't care what color you are. Should I be offended that in Bob's Burger, Tina's voiced by a man, and so is the wife?
No.
They're both played by men. Should that be offensive?
Should I be upset that Kratos is played by a black voice actor? No.
Right.
Because he does a really good job, except for some reason in those games they say boy too much. They might want to cut that down. But
Cash Money 007. Come here, boy.
Cash money. What do you mean? My seeds have dropped. There, look at them dangle.
I'm sorry, like not sorry. This whole thing about like if the vision is somebody and oh no, the woman has big giant breasts or she looks attractive or yet the men, we go back to this whole situation again. But the men can be oiled up and have abs and this and that, and that's fine for these groups of people, these drones. But it's terrible to see a woman in a mini skirt or attractive or thing. It's
right.
As one of my friends put it, they don't have a soul. And then people say they have a soul, and I was like, they're just a character. And it's just really odd to me what keeps happening with this. And it's the same thing with Final Fantasy VII. Like GameSpot and got their whatever in a knots and got all upset. It's like we have to explain to people, we have to lecture them about what a brawl size is. And there's like the reason people get upset is because the way the character was before in the games was fine. And then they change it and people go, we're just supposed to accept this. And that's why people get annoyed. And then they start getting attacked by the media and this and that who think that they have all the answers, which they don't either. And so we just keep going through this same clusterfuck all the time of, well, we better not have this, or there's too many white characters, or there's not enough minorities, or there's not this. Let people make what they want. And when people also say there's never been strong minority characters, hello, how about Pam Grier? There was an article about her recently. That's just an example. Pam Grier and Jackie Brown. I would tell anybody to watch that movie. It was really good. Very good film. Strong female and good banter. I mean, so we just keep going through this over and over again. I don't care. And a lot of people, even the minorities, they say the same thing. They don't care. Just like they don't want Speedy Gonzalez to be gone. It's offensive to them. For anyone to, a lot of them, and I've seen many comments about this, it's very offensive to them to be like, oh, well, let's erase it because it's a stereotype. Do you know how many stereotypes have been around for years and years?
You know what? I hate to say this. Stereotypes are true, but you can't base everything off a stereotype. But they're fun.
Yes,
they're fun.
I was going to bring up the fact that comedians, they always bring up stereotypes. At least they used to, as part of their jokes.
Yes, there's barely a few people. Bill Burr and stuff, he'll still push limits. Of course, Chappelle. There's still a few out there, but very few. Very few.
Well, what about people that do caricatures? I mean, they exaggerate the features, and usually, when it comes around to certain ethnic groups, there are certain things that get exaggerated more because that's the way it is. It's not bad. It's not good. It's not insulting. It's having fun. But when you come up to this little thing here, most famously, several woke activists compared orcs to black people, right? Well, except for one thing. Now you got me confused because the orcs were based off of Tolkien's orcs, right? Where we were told that the orcs were based off of, quote unquote, their words, Mongolians types, Mongols. So it was actually an attack on your Asian culture. So what is it? Is it black? Is it Asian? Make up your mind and get to it. This means all you're doing is talking out of your asses to try to look good. You can't even make up your mind which ethnic group these are insulting anymore.
No, they can't. It goes on and on and on. Right? Exactly.
But I know what ethnic group they're insulting. All of it by doing this.
Yep. Exactly, Troy. And Disney should
go
put
ahead
Song
and
of the South.
Read this comment from Troy too, where he's saying the same SJW fighting against offensive legacies are trying to bury actual diversity. Song of the South kept alive actual African American folklore and tales. They're trying to bury it, especially Disney, by getting rid of Splash Mountain. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
Right, and the big thing is. How many people have seen Song of the South? No, they haven't. They're just told.
No. Right.
They're told.
Right, yeah.
Well, why don't you let them watch and see?
Exactly. Yes.
I mean,
She was denied, if I remember. Now they fixed that problem, but the Oscar, she was denied to actually go into the ceremony and accept her award. But that was a long time ago, and anybody with a brain or wants to use their brain knows that's wrong.
And one of the in the theater that was premiering in wouldn't allow black people in. So you know what Walt Disney did? He went out and stood with them out in the street. He didn't even go in. That horrible, evil, nasty, rotten Walt Disney, went out there in a sign of solidarity with all these people, stood with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, again, more holes being popped into this fictitious bullshit that people are being told. I mean, I have watched many things because I'm okay. You telling me this, so I'll watch it. So I've watched and I've read certain other things, that we're constantly being told. Oh, this says this and all that. Well, it's like, okay, I'm not going to take your word for it. I'm actually going to find out myself. Yeah. It's an easy job. No. Is it something enjoyable? No. Is it something that you're reading or watching because you're in solidarity? No. But it's part of educating yourself, not living in that bubble.
That's right.
Finding out exactly what was making things tick. These morons don't. It's like, my instructor told me this, and this blue-haired land whale made whale sounds to me telling me this, so I have to believe it and follow them because they're my Pied Piper. He's got the pipe. He's got the pipe up his ass, and he's farting out the tune. Yeah, I'll follow you. I mean, that's just it. I mean, yeah, am I being insulting? Damn straight, because you are insulting.
Right.
You are insulting to all of us. You're insulting the people that created these things. You have nothing to contribute to this world except for being a pustule mole on society's asshole.
Yes. I agree.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I can follow that up.
No,
all I'm going to say for you, Baron, with that,
Are we shadow banned?
No, we're not shadow banned. I was just going to say, with that very impassioned speech, is
to be the man, you got to beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here, I'm the man.
You were. That was a Ric Flair type promo right there.
Well, if you want, I also have car insurance I can sell you. Me and Ice-T and a few others are sitting around in a barber shop. So just give me a call. 1-800-555-CARS. Here we go.
And for anybody who might be upset, this is probably what many true D&D fans are going to say to you, especially when it comes to messing around with their game.
Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass?
Yeah.
He hit the wrong car, though, man. You gotta break the right car, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why it's great having all these other systems out there. That's why, it's like, D&D is unique for being what it was, and now you destroyed it. But, there's, like I said, there's Pathfinder now. You got Basil. I mean, those of us who have the older systems of D&D can play it, whether you want to go back to 3.0, 3.5, a first edition, second edition, a GURPS, all three versions of the Star Wars role-playing game you have out there, all the different versions of Traveler. So, I mean, you know what? There's options out there. We don't have to deal with you, WotC people. Fuck off.
There's always options, and because we have more technology now, people can start making their own stuff. There is so much good information on YouTube in general that you can find on how to make things. Right. You want to build this, you want to do this. And it's pretty amazing. And so you can buy even software now to get the Unreal Engine 5.
Right.
And you can start making your own game. So if you want these attractive characters, or you want this, and you're not seeing the industry giving that to you, you can start doing it yourself. Now, are you going to get criticism from these same people, all kinds of different drones? Of course, especially if you make an attractive woman that in your, unfortunately.
Oh, you better not make an attractive woman who's well endowed and
That's right.
Easy on the eyes. Oh no.
I want boobs and butts. That's why I have nothing against them working so hard to have that make them wonderful button on that one game.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that one game, and before we get to it, I do want to say hello to Nova Vaughn, who says, "What's up, awesome dudes?" and Cash.
Funny guy, Nova Vaughn. Funny guy. You picked that up from Baron, yes. Mr. Formerly known as Disney Cobra Jedi, now Nova Vaughn.
What do you mean
You better keep. Are you going to keep this name, Nova Vaughn? Are you going to change it again, huh?
Wait a moment. How did I get wrapped into this one?
Because I'm sure you started it.
You know how Cash is. He'll lump us all into one basket.
I thought it was Phil.
No, Phil's even worse. Phil's even worse.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. I can't say Crit because Crit's in love with you.
Oh boy.
Wait, I thought it was Gap. I thought.
Oh, Gap too.
The budding romance that Cash and Gap After Dark were having on Wednesday.
Thank you so much for reminding me too. Thank you for reminding me. We are brought to you by a new sponsor. It's Gap's Merkins Mercantile. That's right. If you don't have hair down there, don't despair. Just call Gap's Mercantile. We have every color, style, shape that you want. Curly, straight, it don't matter. Please give us a call and keep your nether regions warm. 1-800-555-BUSH. That's 1-800-555-BUSH. Okay, back to the show.
Hey, Cash, you want to read this article?
I
posted the link to it. Posted the link to it in the private chat.
Basically, what it is, I've read this before. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do basically what it is, since this is a short article, guys. What it is it's whining. Okay, so this company, the day before, what they're basically saying is that there's misinformation out there. So they're saying, these problems have led to, let me see if I see that, multiple delays of one of which, I can't read all that. It's too small right now.
Multiple delays, one of which included a trademark dispute.
Article, yeah. And what it is that they are saying on Twitter they do not like this misinformation about the game. As they are pointing out, they said that, these accusations of wrongdoing have caused many in the gaming community to believe the day before to be a scam and that it's not a real game set to launch at all. So this is what people do. Customers can be trolls. And do you guys want to see can we show it? Can we show the gameplay of it? What they showed, the 9 minutes?
Let me find it and
pause it or show screens. I don't know.
See that
I've never had any problem when I've showed gameplay video.
Yeah, find it on IGN or something.
I will.
But yes, basically they're saying that this is a scam and they're whining and complaining. Look, people were saying just come out with a better product. Right now, I hate to tell this company, which is I think it's Fnatic. I think it's pronounced Fnatic. I don't know. They spell it differently though. But they're like, we're a small developer and this is hurting indies, and the whining and complaining are never going to help. What they need to do is show something better than The Division. This looks like a poor version of The Division, and it stinks.
All right, I've got it here. Let me just share my screen. And hello to Mrs. Pacelli, Netters Network.
Oh.
Wait a moment. She goes, "Hi, sweetie, heart to you." Then she turns on you and goes to try with "Hello, love of my life." I tell you, there's a triangle going on here, just like Cash, Crit, and
no. Keep me out of your sick fantasies, Baron. All right.
No, it's Phil.
Wow.
That's the one that's.
Oh, well,
none of those scenarios are ever going to happen. Yes, I know Crit is obsessed with me to an extent, unfortunately.
Gab, and with that,
boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It did?
It did.
All right, so let's check out this gameplay here.
Okay, I want to see that ass. I'm an ass guy. I admit it. Ooh,
Can you
nice
hear the
radio.
sound?
Yeah.
I'm Oliver Frost.
Yeah.
This is probably my last radio broadcast.
I want the radio.
So the thing I would say
is this the newest one?
too much noise.
This is the one I found on IGN.
Oh, they don't
Before,
have the newest one.
It seemed like we were just
because this says it's
sleeping
a
in a
year ago.
continuous
All
stream
right,
of
I'll see if I can find a
Yeah.
more up-to-date one.
Come on, Cash.
Didn't even
They're your former employers. Your former employers.
In the old world, I always dreamed of becoming a radio host. But I didn't have the courage to stay true to myself and not live the way others expected me to. We could create better versions of ourselves, make breakthroughs, and change the world. If we had realized it then, we could have changed many things for the better. And this goddamn Azure initiatives wouldn't have existed. Oh, it would have been nice to
All
come
right.
back.
I found a different one.
Okay, he found a different one, folks.
This is
I
9
found a
minutes
different one.
of a game. This looks very rough, but it looks like right now a poor man's version of The Division, or a poor version of The Division.
I just want to see the booty.
That's all Baron cares about, the booty.
That's all I care about. Yeah, he is. You know, I'm a simple man. Oh my. The day before. Bum, bum, bum.
Is this the most recent one?
Yes, this is the most recent one I could find on GameSpot.
Found it. Yep. Good. Yeah,
There you go, Baron. Booty shot.
Yeah, they could have done a little bit of a more job, but that's pretty damn nice. That's pretty damn nice. Oh yeah.
That's what people were saying. They spent a lot of the assets on the ass.
Yeah, well,
on this gameplay.
Money well spent. Money well spent. Money well spent. I'd follow that. You know. I'd probably lose a kidney because she'd take me down an alley somewhere, and before I know it, I wake up in a tub full of ice. You know.
Oh my God.
Watch it wiggle, see it jiggle.
And that was, she was running.
Yeah.
But see how boring this is? That's why I was calling this the day of bore. It's just, this looks like a poor man's version of, or just a poor version of The Division. And if you played The Division, this feels a lot like it. And in this gameplay, there's barely any zombies shown. They don't even really attack her much. And
I was just gonna say, this just looks like State of Decay 2 if it had third person.
Yeah. And this
like
looks, looks a little Fortnite. Not Fortnite, but Fallout-ish there too.
Yeah, it's definitely got to feel like a PUBG to it as well.
Mm-hmm. You know, and the big thing is honestly, do we? I agree, Nova. Do we need another zombie game? Honestly,
no.
I'm really tired of zombies. I really am.
We don't need another game, and The Division did a pretty good job. Actually, better than pretty good. Those games are actually fun.
Yeah.
But you're not just fighting zombies. I mean, it's just another apocalypse, and it's just this is the day before, Troy.
Obviously, sponsored by the Russians because they're using Russian. So yeah, this is. I love the music. As you're selecting all the stuff for your weapon.
It's a zombie apocalypse. Assemble your arm.
Just imagine
you
your
too
boss
can slay the zombies.
Just imagine your boss telling you at IGN or GameSpot or something that you have to like this game and don't be too harsh and like give me a break. This just.
If I buy a game and I find problems with the game, I'm gonna say something about that game. I've said it about Gotham Knights.
Yes.
How many times has that game crashed?
Yep. Like the scenery for the areas aren't too bad, but it's just I just, where is the excitement? Oh, okay, she's picking up accessories she needs or items she needs, and now she's out the door and with somebody she's working with.
And here's a hot take.
Wow, very exciting.
Here's a hot take, but all these games start to look alike after a while.
Yep.
I don't know that I would spend $60-$70 on this game. Maybe $20.
This is a rough cut. This is why people are saying this looks like an alpha, and for them to make a statement on Twitter about how misinformation, how dangerous it is, and that it's dangerous and it's a problem. It's you guys cause your own problems. Yep. You finally see a zombie, and then she's going to see some more zombies, and she can put in a code. See, this is what I was hoping when she puts in the wrong code, that some zombies come out and start attacking her. I think that would be cool. So if
anybody wants to know the code, just go back to this video playthrough and go, what was that code again? Oh, yeah. State of Decay 2 has more action than this.
Yeah, well, it just seems like an alpha. It just looks like a poor version of The Division, and it's just... where is the excitement? That's why people are like... Now, because the company, the developer, I should say, is upset that people are saying this is misinformation, this game is a scam, and how dare them, and it's well, I guess they're saying that's not right, and it's unfair, and it's this. It's like, people have been saying that stupid stuff for years. Where have you guys been? Where have you been? People will troll. People will say things. This game is a scam. Maybe some people really believe it, but you need to. You want to charge $60 probably for this game. Maybe it's $40. You need to make the customers believe that this game is going to be worth their money.
Mm-hmm.
I know, shocking, but yeah.
Not only worth their money, but it's also going to be worth their time playing the game, because some players will put in hours upon hours playing a particular type of game.
Yes.
I know I've been playing a lot of Gotham Knights lately, but I've gotten to the point where I know I'm near the end of the game and I just want to finish it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good game.
When it works right.
When it works, yeah.
Yeah.
When it works, yes. But yeah, this gameplay is just not very exciting. So.
Well, it's just kind of like what you call just kind of showing you what everything looks like, and then not actual gameplay.
Oh my God! Another zombie, folks!
I know, right?
Oh
no!
Hey! Oh no! That was Kyle Jar Jar Brinks. What are you doing? It's a zombie from WotC.
Yeah, I don't see myself buying this game.
Not unless they're going to show something better, and I'm just kind of tired of zombie games.
Yeah, I'm tired of the whole zombie genre as it is, to be honest with you.
Some of it's good, some of it's not.
Mm-hmm.
The Division has more of... You have things going on, but there's some cool stuff in there. In this game, I'm just not feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
What they're showing right now, I'm just not feeling it. So. Do better.
Yeah,
they say that to us. Do better. Well, guess what? Developing this game, do better. Get us excited about it.
Yes.
Learn the code.
Yeah, it's just not very good.
No, it's like, dude, but I mean, and that's just it. You sit back and say your honest opinion about something like this, right? And then they call you a
Yeah,
troll or
absolutely.
esterphobe. It's like, where did that come from? No, we're saying, you know, we're pointing things out. Don't you? That's the purpose of you showing some of this stuff to us. Is okay. What are we doing wrong? Well, or what are we doing right?
Yep.
So
Exactly.
if your sensitivities are that sensitive, you're that sensitive to it, then just release a product and shut down all comment lines, and then
Yeah. Just,
put your fingers in your ear, close your eyes, go la 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 la
yeah.
la.
Let's see if I can find the right message. I'll read this message. First, what is this? First Steam, and then YouTube removed some of the day before videos from our channel due to a trademark dispute. 3 facts. 1, the so-called owner of the rights to the title is the creator of the calendar app, which has nothing to do with the games category. 2, after we announced the game in 2021, he also wanted to take over the title and filed for trademarks ahead of us. 3, he ambiguously offers to contact him to discuss something, but what? We'll fight. Power is in the truth. And then the name of the company. Now, the other message they had, and so if they are stealing, and they're not doing what yeah, and this is what happens too with some of these companies. They steal. I found out recently from another YouTuber that they are stealing, and yes, it's an emulator of the Switch, but they're stealing the Ryujinx and they're pondering it off as their own, and they stole their logo. And I know it's just a Switch emulator, but that's not right at all. That's wrong. And then they're making money off of this in the App Store. It's none of this is right. But before all that happened, they said, we all live in a time of disinformation and lack of fact checking. Anyone can say anything for views, and everyone will believe it. Disinformation needs to be dealt with, as it can harm not only us, but also other indies and small/media studios. It also has a mental impact on the members of such teams. After the release of the day before, we'll think about how to help novice developers deal with fakes and allocate resources for this. Destroying is easy, creating is difficult. So, what do you guys think when you hear a message like that?
It says that they do not want to critique. They have thin skin, and they've been caught.
Yes, right.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's how I feel.
It's like, right. I mean, again, you critique, you're a troll.
Yep.
You critique, you're part of the problem. You're a critique, you're nothing. You're nothing but the bad thing. And again, critiques go both ways, right?
Yep.
You can say something good about it, and of course, they if someone's putting out there a critique on something where they can do an improvement, that's where you sit back and start looking. Is it really going to help improve, or is it just one guy, whatever, coming up, pulling something out of his arse? And he's just like, well, maybe this is a better way to go. Or if it's not, it's like, well, that's one guy who's all pissed off. We don't care. This is still going to work this way.
Why not say this, right? Here, no, I shouldn't say right, but they say this. Okay, people did not like this trailer. Maybe we've made some mistakes. Maybe this looks too much like The Division. We'll work harder on it. Instead of saying, oh, the misinformation. I'm like, people troll. People say stupid things. Why do you act surprised?
Right. And just weed out the trolls and look for the ones that are actually saying good things. If you're unable to do that, don't even have a comment section open.
Seriously.
Yeah. You're going to have someone coming out there and say, you suck, just because they're morons.
Right. Exactly.
But when you have people actually putting case and point on stuff, pay a little bit of attention, and then start seeing that, this guy, even his points and all that, he's contradicting himself. Kind of like that article, Kissing Up to Disney.
Yes.
So you know, misinformation. What misinformation? If you're going out there and pontificating your opinion, your critique on it, it's not misinformation. It's how you view.
Yeah.
It's what you presented to me that I'm reacting to. How is that misinformation? Unless I'm lying. Then, if I'm lying about how I feel about it, then yeah, that's misinformation. But if I'm giving you an honest one, that's not misinformation.
I mean, let's, say it like it is. If I, haven't played the Last of Us game yet, I'm watching the show, I'm going to critique from what I'm seeing from the show, which I have been.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
For the last 4 episodes. Tonight will be episode 5, and I will critique that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to hold back. If there's something about the episode I don't like, I'm going to say it.
As you should.
If there's something about a game I don't like, I'm going to say it. I've been critical of Gotham Knights, even though I'm still playing the game. I'm still going to be very critical of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think that's any game where we can sit back and go, and it's like, oh god, I wish the game didn't have it, but I still love this game.
Yeah.
And we're going to run into that.
Yes.
I don't think any game. It's like Star Trek Online. I like this game, but boy, they really suck in this area. Or the Old Republic, or anything.
The Old Republic's a good game. It's just there's still aspects of it that could be better. They never got the open world PvP right, where we could have these epic battles, and they didn't bring on the Star Wars team that worked on the 3D space combat, and they were going to. And then it got, even when I was in a guild back, gosh, it's now been 7 years or something. They didn't give people hope. And they weren't adding enough, and we were more of a PvP guild at the time, and they took away the ranked war zones. It was war zones, and they took those away, and people went, what the hell with this game? And people got irritated. The game was fun. Had some of the best PvE type content I've ever seen in a massively multiplayer online, but they do not. It only went so far. Only went so far, and it still only goes so far. It's fun. It's a fun game, but it never got that PvP it should have gotten. They tried, and they could have done, but they had an engine that only can put in about 100 people all in one area. That's a problem in itself. So there should be at least 200-300 people be in that same area and still be able to run well enough. The engine run well enough. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, any other thoughts before we wrap up this edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk?
Nah. I think we all had fun. I hope we had all fun. You had fun? I had fun.
It was fun. It was a great show. I mean, I might be a little biased.
You are very biased.
Yes.
That's beside the point.
It's okay.
But I think we had a great show.
We accept it.
Is there anything you guys would like to promote?
Well, of course, at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time today, I believe we're going to have, even though there is some game going on today, I think we're still going to have the Primetime Kings on 24/7 Fusion Media. That's with the Tower of Power himself, 24/7 Fusion Media, the ever mysterious Vigilante Williamson. Having a little break from the Hollywood Nights and zooming in on his hot rod would be Dubam Turk and yours truly. So that'll be tonight, hopefully.
Okay.
That's cool.
And real quick, before we get to you, Cash, I do want to share something with everybody. I know I didn't talk to you about this ahead of time, Baron, but I do think this is important to share. That if anybody can, if you can donate, whatever amount you can donate to help 24 right now, it would be greatly appreciated. 24 is a great guy. He does great content of his own. And right now he's just going through a hardship and he could really use our help.
Right. $1, $5, $10, $20. You don't have to be crazy, but if you have something to spare, please do so. 24 is a great guy, and like Mike said, he's been going through some stuff, and of course, you have the weather that you have going on down there that's not necessarily helping much at all as well. So,
yes,
yeah,
that sucks. Yeah, very much so.
And as you can see, there are some higher ones, but you can see there's some low, 15, whatever, and as it goes, every amount, no matter how small it is, it still adds up. So.
And I have donated to this myself, so I'm not just saying to donate and not putting my money where my mouth is.
Right, and I've donated myself, yeah, except my name's not in there. I didn't do that right with the name, but I don't care because, I'm not doing it to put my name out there. I'm doing it because I'm there.
I wasn't highlighting my name either, but I felt it necessary to mention that I did donate, just so people know. Not only am I saying to donate, but I'm doing it myself. It's either put up or shut up.
Exactly. That's the important thing. So.
Yep.
So if you can help 24 out, I know he would appreciate it. We all appreciate it because we are his friends. We are in the community all together.
Right.
And whatever you can donate, I know he would appreciate it.
Yes.
He did not ask me to do this. I'm taking it upon myself to do this.
I didn't even know about this until yesterday. So, so as it goes, and I'm a co-host. So, so I didn't know about it until yesterday. And of course, hey, gotta step up, even a small amount. So, want to make sure he's up and going and being his normal self.
Yes. So, Cash, please go ahead and promote anything that's coming up on the Phantom Hooligans.
Well, right now there's we'll in the future, hopefully a few weeks from now, we'll have discussion streams, but not having those right now. Even if we were having those, we're going to have some more gaming streams, and Mike and I have been talking. We're probably going to play Streets of Rage next week, as long as it all works out. So we're going to play that together, and maybe in one stream we'll beat the game. I don't know. Depends how many hours we play, I guess. But Mike's beaten the game already, so I have the game.
I haven't beaten it with another person fighting with me. I've only beaten it solo, so it'd be nice to play the game with two players. Yes, Chaos and I did try playing it two players, but we never passed it together.
Well, because Chaos is... Yeah, you heard me, Chaos. No, I'm kidding.
He's Chaos, yeah.
Yeah, he's Chaos. The name says it all. Yeah, so that's going to happen. I am going to usually now start playing at least 2 games a week. So Saints Row 2 is going to continue. I was happy I was able to do that stream for almost 5 hours yesterday. I did not like, though, that the game crashed at least 4 times on me, but it's an old game, so I just went back and started it up again.
Why is it whenever you're involved in a game or around a game it crashes? Mike was having a great time on Gotham Knights. The moment you showed up, it started crashing. Saints Row crashing. You are going to be known as Crash Money from now on.
It's just, unfortunately, that's an old game, so, yeah.
But that's what I call Cash after he's woken up from a nap. Oh,
yeah.
Hey, guys.
I was up all night arguing on Twitter. Those people just don't get it.
I definitely was not doing that. That sounds like a horrible thing. That sounds like that does not sound like a good time at all. It really doesn't. But yes, so the next game I'm going to be playing is, I guess I'm going to do more Saints Row 2. There may be a stream tomorrow. Every stream from now on is going to be scheduled. I liked having the stream scheduled. So we'll just see what happens. I don't know what game I'm going to pick from Steam. It's going to be next week, as well as playing more Saints Row 2, because I am going to finish that on stream. Because there's just a lot of games on my Steam library, including Ubisoft and other platforms that I need to finish. So a ton.
Very nice. Very nice.
Bravo.
Anything else?
No, that's all for now. We'll just decide what games. I know we should also play State of Decay 2, and if we can get some more people to play that, and even Streets of Rage 4, that would be great as well.
Definitely looking forward to it. And as far as what's coming up here on PACIFIC414, well, as you all know, Wednesday will be the collector stream, the third one here on the channel. It will begin at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central Time, and 3 p.m. Pacific Time. The guests for that stream, well, 3 of them you're already seeing on your screen right now. But we will have Troy Pacelli, Papa Pacelli. We will also have Pops, DJ Ronnie G, who will be fine as long as he doesn't show that clip from the American-made Sailor Moon.
Yeah, get that fucking clip out. Anyway.
And from Legion Talk, we will have Ryan from Legion Talk. I've been on his show a couple of times, Friday night's Royal Rumble, so looking forward to that. And of course, tonight I will be giving my review of episode 5 of The Last of Us, and I will also try to finish Gotham Knights. I know there are people out there who are probably moaning and groaning right now, going, "Oh, come on, Mike, switch to something else." I know I'm near the end when it comes to Gotham Knights, and I want to get that game done. And real quick, I do want to say hello to your best friend, Cash Money.
That's not my best friend, but Gab's a good guy. He's a good guy. So.
And he says he's late. And how many times have I said it on this channel? You're not late. You're not late.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, there's a clip here. But I've said you're not late. The only person that has to be here on time on the stream, especially when the stream's about to start, is me. So Gap and everyone else who always thinks, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm late, I'm missing Pop Talk."
A wizard is never late. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
So I think that I just wanted to, on another note, that company that is making the day before is what is it? Yeah, Fantastic. I guess that's the name because they changed some of the letters, so I think it's named Fantastic. Yeah, the day before. They're gonna have to do a lot better job, and if that game looks like it's early alpha and it's a mess. Just like Gotham Knights, but at least Gotham Knights functions pretty well.
It functions when it wants to.
Yep.
But before we get out of here today, I do want to thank our guest today, Ryan Roger Athay, who is currently on Pop Culture Minefield with the Dork Knight, talking some wrestling. But I appreciate him taking time to be here earlier. If you want to see that portion of the stream, just go back to the beginning of the stream. And I would definitely like to have him back. And he didn't announce it, and I hope he doesn't mind me announcing it, but Thursday, I will actually be over on his channel for Reality Base, where he will be asking me some questions. Those questions being, how did I start PACIFIC414? If you want to hear how it all started and you haven't heard it here, you can join us Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for Reality Based. And with that, I think we can wrap up the show. How about you guys?
I think so.
Alrighty. I think this was a great show, but I can't wrap it up without thanking everybody who was here.
Uh-oh.
That's right. Thank everybody who was here. So I want to thank Crit from Evers Productions for being here. I want to thank Dempsey for being here. Thank you, Dempsey. And DJ Ronnie G, who, like I said, will be back with us on Wednesday. I also want to thank Bush McFadden for being here. I also want to thank Michael Black for being here. I also want to thank Captain Phantom Nerd for being here. And I also want to thank Resolute Germ for being here. We also had Angelus Draven here. Thank you, Angelus. Good to see you. We also had Old Man here. Thank you, Old Man. And I know Baron's glad that she's home. She's home.
She's home.
Alone,
Yep.
suffering. Mrs.
Mrs.
Tag.
Tag. And yep, she's been suffering, sadly.
She can always beat you up, though, Baron. It's
okay. Yeah.
I also want to thank Black Dragon for being here. I also want to thank the Padawannabe for being here. I want to thank John Rendell for being here. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank Fat Steven for stopping by. Really appreciate it, brother. And, of course, this next person I want to thank for being here. I can't thank him without playing this. Anonymous. 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 And I also want to thank JetSparks373 for being here. And as I scroll down, I also want to thank Troy Pacelli for being here. Thank you, Troy. I also want to thank Nova Vaughn for being here. Thank you, Nova. Netter's Network. Thank you, Netter. Really appreciate it. And, of course, Release McCracken.
This is Patrick
Phil
Stewart,
McCracken.
and I wish to tell Phil McCracken that I hate him also.
He's Phil McCracken, Scottish therapist. Well, Phil's not actually a therapist. He does drive us crazy, but we're the ones that need a therapist after Phil McCracken. And Anonymous says, oh, dang. Hey, brother, you know when you're around, I'm going to end up playing that clip.
Can we find that comment again about the Nintendo and the $70? I had not that you had highlighted.
Oh my God! Who the hell cares?
I care.
I got to find it again.
Okay. That was funny though.
Give me a second. I got to scroll down. Let's see. Yeah, here it is.
Yep, I agree. It is dumb.
It is. But thank you, everybody who is here. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up before you go. Share out the stream. Subscribe to everybody who was on the panel. Subscribe to the channels whose links I put into the chat. I'm still working on getting everybody's links, to periodically pop up. It's just that the other day with Nightbot, there were just too many coming up all at the same time. So I am in the process of fixing that. But until tonight, where I will once again be talking about episode 5 of The Last of Us. Thank you all for watching. And remember, I'm not just a baseball guy. I'm an all-around guy. Have a good one, everyone.
Pop Talk is where it's at, baby.